Bonjour, mountain bikers of the world, and welcome to the second stop of the Crankworx World Tour. And where better to play host than Ligier, France. Now today we've got our first event, Dual Speed and Style, a rider favorite, and we have the sun that has come out to join us. The riders are ready, and the stage is set here in the beautiful French Alps. Welcome to Crankworx Ligier.
Exclamation point on that one.
These guys are neck and neck coming down into this final jump.
And a very big hello and a big welcome to everyone joining us here in Ligier, the French Alps, stop number 2 on your Crankworx World Tour, and our first of 4 broadcasts of competition going on here in Ligier. The rain has parted away, and we are getting ready to get things started. My name is Brad J., joined by the legend of free riding himself, Mr. Cam McCall. Cam, are you excited to be out here on second stop?
How could you not, really? I mean, look behind us. There's actually blue sky. We've been waiting so many days in a row for blue sky. We're finally going to get action underway now.
And I tell you what, patience is what it's all about. We've been waiting for it to happen. The sun is out. The riders are ready to take to this dual speed and style. Our first competition, but I got to ask you, Cam, who are some of the riders we're going to be looking for?
Well, you got to talk about Adrien Lerone, a racer at heart, and he's on a quest for that Crankworx King title. He was second place last year by a narrow margin, and he's been working on his tricks, which is really important because this year with a little bit of a format change, the tricks matter even more, so he's got to be rotating.
All right, who's next?
Well, Kyle Straight, no stranger to the podium in speed and style. In fact, he had second place just a few months ago in New Zealand. He brings out that double tail whip when it really matters, and he made it all the way to the final, pulled it out in New Zealand, but it wasn't enough against Thomas Slavic.
All right, the final guy we're talking about.
Martin Soderstrom, he won 2015 in New Zealand. He's been battling injuries, unfortunately, but he's back, and he looks so strong, our top qualifier today.
Being that this is stop number 2 here in the Crankworx World Tour in Ligier, stop number 1 was in Rotorua a few months ago, and here's how things stacked up out there. 4th place, Greg Watts, 50 points towards the overall title. Adrien Lerone in 3rd, 75 for him. Kyle Straight holding it down with 100 in 2nd, and Thomas Slavic getting a big win with 150 points. How important was that for Thomas?
It was important, but does it really matter? Because if you think back to Rotorua, he took 1st place, but he didn't do any tricks. We have some format changes here, making tricks way more valuable. You're actually going to get docked if you don't do a trick. They're going to add time to your score.
So you got to bring your A game, and you got to throw some tricks down, right?
You're not going to see somebody win this event right here without doing a trick. So yeah, the game has changed a little bit, and it's truly a speed and style now with the new format.
Well, something special going on with Crankworx called Fantasy. You want to pick your own team? You can do that. Fantasy Crankworx. Check it out. All right, we're talking about the standings. Well, let's see how you stand with fantasy.crankworx.com. You can pick your own fantasy team. Cam, you've already been at it.
I actually became a bit obsessed with this. You have to be crafty, you have to be frugal. The athletes that have the best chance of doing well are quite expensive, so you got to decide which events you're going to splurge on and which ones you're going to kind of stick to your budget.
It's a whole lot of fun. You can't just pick the top dogs and the top ladies in the mix because you'll run out of money quick.
So it's pretty fun. It gives you a reason to watch all these different events, and I put together my team. I know I'm going to take you down.
No,
how confident
not.
do you feel?
No, you're not. I'm super confident. But here's what you can win. You can win a trip for 2 to Crankworx Whistler, including 5 nights at the Ava Whistler Hotel, accommodation, and Crankworx Whistler VIP accreditation. Get on there, fantasy.crankworx.com. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Gauntlet has been thrown down. Your fantasy team against my fantasy team?
Yes, my fantasy team is going to win and your fantasy team is going to lose. It's simple.
We talked about this last night. We went through our team, so I'm feeling pretty strong about my selections.
Yeah, you can feel strong, but that does not reflect reality. Sorry, buddy.
All right, well, 25 years is a reality here. 25 years of riding has been going on here in Leger. It is an amazing place. And Cam, you travel all over the world. You've ridden some amazing places, but what do you really think about Leger and what they have to offer as far as free riding goes?
One thing you notice when you travel around the world riding mountain bikes is you keep hearing about this Port du Soleil region in the French Alps. And the best place to base yourself in if you're going to do a trip and ride downhill in the French Alps, it's Leger. They've got 3 lift access chairs for mountain bikes, and just a wide variety of trails, everything from the natural roots and mud that you'd expect in the Alps to some, man-made stuff with some gaps and some big berms.
Okay, let's highlight a single trail. What would be one trail that you're talking about that offers something for everybody?
You'd have to talk about Canyon Noir. It's actually a trail that has exactly what we're talking about, a little bit of everything from the roots and the mud that you'd expect here when you're experiencing the rain like we have been this week. You see people out here covered in mud, but with huge smiles on their face. And, that's a testament to how good this terrain is.
Yeah.
Everywhere you can have fun in the mud, but here in Leger, that's what it's all about.
I like the fact that you can gap over your buddy while he's riding. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the trail building, like you said, they've been building trails here for so long. The trails have options. So if you want to catch some air, there's gaps. If you want to stick to the ground and just focus on your cornering, you can take those beeline routes. But basically, the trail Canyon Noir kind of just epitomizes what Leger is all about. Going out riding with your buddies and then getting down to the bottom of the village, ending with a little glass of Pinot Noir.
Well, an amazing trail indeed. And of course, an amazing course is out here too as well in Leger. And for more on a course report, let's check in with Hannah Bernard. Hannah?
Merci beaucoup, Brad J. And I am here right in the action on the course, right beside the dual speed and style. Now, the big storyline here this week has been conditions. You wouldn't know it today because the sun joined us, but it has been raining here in Leger all week. So coming into this contest here today, it is riding very soft. I've been chatting with a lot of the guys, and some of them are actually saying that the track is favoring racers. So we're going to have to see what riders are going to be using the conditions to their advantage coming into the first event here at Crankworx Leger. Guys, back up to you.
And thank you, Hannah, for that. All right, Cam, dual speed and style, always evolving and a little bit different this year. Can you break it down for us and how the scoring is going to work today?
Yeah, basically, tricks are going to be worth a little bit more right now. So obviously, you still want to lay down the fastest time possible. Let's take a look at exactly how it's going to work and what you should be looking out for. This is a run from Rotorua just a few months ago, Kyle Strait versus Greg Watts. Most important thing, get a great start because the time matters, of course. But in speed and style, you have 2 jumps, one at the start and one at the finish. Right there, they took the same trick, both of them going for the backflip. Kyle having a bit of a lead here, a tail whip for him, a backflip for Greg. Here's where things get interesting. You've got your run scores.
Okay.
Kyle beat him by 0.65, so he's got that yellow bar right there. That represents his advantage. When his tricks get calculated in, he gets time deductions for however good his trick is. He gets a high score, he gets more of an advantage, and his yellow bar grows. It's all about getting that yellow bar to grow.
Okay, I'm following you. Keep going.
But then, of course, Greg Watts had some great tricks, so he's going to chip away at that yellow bar, which is, of course, Kyle Straight's advantage.
So Kyle Strait does have the advantage, 0.87, going into their second matchup.
They get back up to the start, and they switch courses, and they go again. So Greg here, knowing that he has a lot to make up, he's doing harder tricks. See him finish it off with a backflip tail up there. He's hoping, even though he didn't cross the finish line first, his tricks were good enough to where he could chip away at that yellow bar.
So now the jump scores come in so that you see the increase right there for Kyle Strait.
And then Greg's trick score gets calculated in, and he chips away at that yellow bar, but will it be enough?
Not enough to do it. So I get it. You just want a bigger yellow bar to win, right?
That's it. Extend that yellow bar.
So breaking down the scoring for you, you need to pay attention at home. Make sure you're on point with that one. Okay, Cam, now we've talked about, recently we put this thing together here at Crankworx. It's called the Big Number, and we're going to do the Big Number again. This time, let's bring in Bernard Kerr and the Big Number.
Well, we got to feature this guy because he was the king of Crankworx in last season. Last season was the first time we had that king and queen of Crankworx title up for grabs, and he racked up enough points to be able to pull it off.
All right, let's talk about the first number when we refer to Bernard Kerr.
Well, we're talking about his points and how he racked them up. 555 was the exact number of points that he earned through all the different events he competed in. You know, downhill, pump track, speed and style, whip off. It all comes down to the end of the year points tally, and 555 was the magic number.
Okay, the second big number.
80. We're here for dual speed and style today. He won it last year in France, and 80 was the number of berms that he ripped in his quest for
Nice.
winning speed and style last year in France.
Okay, so we've seen 2. How about the third big number regarding Bernard Kerr?
Third big number for Bernard Kerr is 3. He's not just managing himself. Obviously, that's a task in itself, but he's actually the team manager of the Pivot Bikes race team. So aside from dealing with his own stuff, he's got a team to take care of as well, 2 other riders plus himself.
Bernard Kerr right there. Big year for Bernard, winning the King of Crankworx, and big stuff for him. Well, big stuff coming your way. Dual speed and style on the way for you right here, live from Leger, coming right up.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed Cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
Today brought to you by Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake. Whistler Mountain Bike Park. And back to the action going on here to get things rolling for you on the 2 wheels. As you can see, the sun is out, and a beautiful day here in Leger. And it didn't start that way out here, but it looks like, Cam, the weather's cooperating us, so we're going to get things going. But let's talk a little bit about the format. Can you break down the format with me and how we're going to get this thing going here?
Yeah, so we have these brackets that were set up based upon the seeding runs from a couple days ago. So Martin Soderstrom was our top qualifier. One change in the format this year is that you actually have to do tricks in qualifying as well. So you see Martin up there, obviously a guy who's capable of winning just with speed if it was just a typical seeding run based on speed, but he had the tricks to get up there in that top spot with the new format. And for the girls, Jill Kintner as well, they don't have to worry about doing tricks. This is just a dual slalom for them. So Jill Kintner, obviously the favorite when it comes to dual slalom, but Casey Brown biting at her heels with that second place qualifying spot.
All right, so we're talking a little bit, kind of, you broke down what's going on, but let's talk about the format in general here. Head-to-head, 2 runs per round, right?
Yep, you take a run, then you switch courses, and now you're trying to beat the guy who beat you if you're trailing. And of course, the jumps, like we said before, the score counts as time deductions. Each jump has a maximum time deduction, and if you get a score out of 100, you get that maximum time deduction.
And we're taking a look right there. That's the big Swede himself, Martin Soderstrom. And a scratch in the first round for him. So Martin locked and loaded. Now Martin was also the #1 qualified guy, so he had the best time.
So we should mention too, we're joining up here in the second lap of this round 1. So it looks like Martin's got a 22nd advantage over Carson, and Carson is not in the gate, so I would venture to say that Carson didn't ride that first round. This is essentially a bye run for Martin Soderstrom right here.
So this is also what you're going to see by the #1 qualifier, because he dropped the best time out there just a couple days ago. Here's Martin making his way down the dual speed and style course here.
And he's got to be stoked. This is like finding it in the street. When you qualify first, you're expecting to go against somebody who's a fair bit slower than you and who doesn't have any tricks, because you're going against last place qualifier. But in this case, it would have been Carson Storch, who definitely would have put up a heavy fight. Carson Storch not riding this run, so Martin just skating through to the next round.
You know, Martin having a rough time, a rough go at it out there in New Zealand. Beat by Kyle Strait, but coming out here and trying to see if he can recapture the Martin Soderstrom magic So you can see right there, there's the 931. That's the big yellow bar we're talking about, right?
There we go. And since he was riding against the Ghost Rider, he has a massive big yellow bar.
So there'll be no jumps there for Carson Storch. Carson Storch qualified in that 16th spot, so he squeaked his way in, but unfortunately not able to continue on. So that's going to be an easy one for Martin to move on. So stack and rack our next couple of guys out here, and here we go. Right now, it looks like we got Kyle Straight and Bas van Steenbergen now.
Ooh, man, this is definitely going to be a battle in the speed department. Both of these guys so fast. Of course, we're expecting Kyle to probably have a few more tricks than Bas, but Bas's brother Tom van Steenbergen now has an airbag in their backyard, so who knows, maybe Bas has been working on some tricks.
So you look at the edge. Looks like the edge going to Bas from that first matchup between them. And we're joined now in the second matchup here in our round of 16 for your dual speed and style. Cam McCall, Brad J calling the action for you here. And here we go, back to racing.
Well, there we go. Kyle knows he has a little bit to make up, so he's kicking that Superman with a little bit of Indian air flair, crossing his legs up. And that's going to count. You know, you do a Superman, it's going to be worth some points. Cross the legs. Every little bit counts right here. But them duking it out into this left-hander. Wow.
Oh. Let's see the last trick. You can see him approaching the last jump.
Oh, Kyle Straight going for the tail whip. Bas looked like he did a bit of a toboggan there.
You know, talking to Bas about that, I said he didn't have much for the jumps. He was just going to try and put something in there. So let's see if we could take a look at the jump section here. Taking a look, here's number one.
Well, Kyle Straight going for that Superman. Definitely crossed up can. The bike got sideways and he somehow pulled it all back together. I got to imagine that's going to be worth a lot. But the toboggan is not going to hold a candle to the tail whip. Kyle Straight, of course, really good with the strategy of choosing the right trick at the right time.
All right, so wait for the time. So talking to Bas, he was saying that he didn't have much on the trick kind of things the other day, so he was just going to go with the toboggan on that last one just to try to not get deductions.
But that's how it works with the new format.
Yeah.
Before, you could just scrub, and obviously that's going to be faster, and sometimes it was fast enough to outweigh the small trick you may be considering. But now you got to do even just a small trick. So throwing that toboggan is just playing defense for Bas.
So waiting for the overall scores to come in between Kyle Straight and Bas van Steenbergen.
So we're going to be waiting for that big yellow bar right there. Kyle Straight was looking at the disadvantage, but he had a quick run. They crossed the finish line pretty tight to each other. Kyle had that Superman Indian air and that tail whip.
And you see it like you're talking about, just trying to make up with the score. So if you're not having the fastest time out there, what you want to do is you try and make it up with the tricks, right? Well, one person is moving on and one is done for the day. You see the edge, 2.48. Now we'll go to the jump sections right here. A 0 on that first one for Bas, 0 on that second one. Now over to Kyle, so he'll chip away with a 30 on that one. And jump number 2 is going to rank higher, 65, but not enough. So that means Kyle Straight has been eliminated here on run number 2. And Bas van Steenbergen, Cam, is going to be moving on. That's a surprise, huh?
Yeah, tough luck for Kyle. I mean, that's how he got eliminated out of the finals. New Zealand doing great tricks and hanging tight, but still getting eliminated. So even though we have the new format, it's still possible for the race approach to take it. But you saw how Bas had a 0 score. Basically, if you do a small trick, you get a 0. If you do no trick at all, you get time added on. So that's why you saw him get a 0 score, even though he did do a little toboggan sea crab.
Well, Philip Atuel from Great Britain, he's going to have the edge here, 0.92 here in their second matchup now, going against Mitch Ropalata, Rope-a-Dope himself. He's going to be going against Phil here. And the leader of the first one, that is Phil, and we talk about the 0.92 on that one, Cam.
Well, that's a really very small gap, and Mitch Ropalato kind of taking a different tactic here, running the downhill bike. It's a very muddy course. There's that slippery grass corner we saw, so suspension, tracking ability, mud tires, obviously going to help him in the speed department. But Mitch Ropalato also has some tricks as well. We saw him flipping that big downhill bike in the qualifiers.
Well, Mitch, you know, comes from a BMX too, also background, so he does have the tricks, as you said. So let's see what these next 2 racers do. One's going to be moving on, one's going to be going home. Who's it going to be as we stack them for race number 2? Here we go, back to racing.
Let's see what they have on the jumps. It looked like a one-hander for Mitch, and I don't think that Phil Atwell actually got a trick off right there. Brad, I like how you mentioned, we all forget that Mitch Ropalato has such a heavy background in BMX because we're so used to him being a World Cup downhill racer the last few years. But he's got some tricks. Let's see what he pulls on this last jump. He's got a great lead. There we go, the one-footed whip. Looks like Phil had something for him on that last jump, so hopefully he doesn't get any time added on. I think I saw a limb hanging off the bike.
You saw the limb, okay. But look at that difference, so that 0.18. Let's see if we can kind of dissect it and maybe take a look at those last couple of jumps here. Here we go.
All right, definitely no trick for Phil, except for a one-footed lander, which definitely doesn't count for anything.
Yeah.
But it looked like Mitch was taking a handoff, maybe pulling a tear off. Oh, there we go.
There we go, he kicked
Philip
it out.
Atwell with the one-footed X-up, definitely a great way to play defense.
So now it comes in the hands of the judges right here. Phil with the advantage, 0.18 from the first matchup. Now the advantage from jump number 1 going out to Mitch. So rope-a-dope.
Oh, he got -30. Phil got -30.
Yeah, the foot plant doesn't, or the foot plant lander doesn't count.
Well, let's see what Mitch's score comes in at.
So,
There we go, Mitch advances.
oh, and Mitch has done it. Mitch Ropalato will be moving on. That's going to do it for Great Britain's very own Philip Atwell is done for the day. And Mitch Ropalato will be moving on to the winner of our next matchup. So congratulations to Mitch. And now we take a look at Daryl Brown and Tommy G gonna get set here for their second matchup. The advantage, we'll get to that here in just a sec. So this is a bye right now.
And I'm gonna venture to say I know why right now. We've got
Yeah.
slopestyle practice going on and it's been rainy for a few days, so it definitely makes sense for Thomas Janon to prioritize, ride that slopestyle course because tomorrow morning they have finals. That's good news for Daryl Brown right here. He scores on a bye round, 360 in the first jump. This one's basically gonna be chalked up as a practice run for Daryl Brown.
Well, the good news is I have him on my fantasy team, so that's the good news for me with Daryl Brown right now.
Oh my gosh, I was smack talking so much, and this is really not working out well for me because I was looking at the brackets, and I thought Tommy G had a good chance of making it into the finals, so I chose him. But I was not expecting slopestyle practice to overlap, so you're looking good so far.
You were talking a little smack there, so maybe it's going to come back and bite you in the rear on that one.
There's a lot of events, Brad. There's a lot of events.
Yeah, there's a lot going on still. So Daryl Brown, the good news is he'll be moving on. He'll be facing Mitch Ropalato will be the next between those guys.
That'll be a good round.
Now let's take a look at the brackets that we're looking at right there. There you go, Daryl Brown moving on, and Adrian Larone. And against your brother, so it looks like with that green means he's going to be moving on too as well, right? Let's see when we go back up. There's a little course work going on. You can see this, the glimmering, the shine of those berms right there. And the reason you see that shine, because of the rain that we've had, they've done an amazing job with this course. They've kept it tarped the whole entire time. And as soon as we were able to get a competition off, they removed those tarps, and let's get right to the action.
So yeah, it looks like Larone had that green dot by his name, so that means he has the advantage.
Oh, there you go,
coming
yes.
into this second round of their first heat.
Well, you know your brother can make it up on the tricks, right? He's just got to keep it close as far as the speed goes, right?
That's the thing. Tyler's got big tricks. He won the speed and style event at Whistler last year.
Yes, he did.
But he's got quite a big disadvantage to make up, a 1.6 underneath Adrian Larone. But Larone, yes, he has tricks, but they are basic tricks. Will Tyler dump out the bag?
Well, here we go. T-Mac and Adrian Larone. Adrian Larone with the advantage, 1.6 for the first matchup. This is their second race against each other. Can T-Mac make up the difference? Here we go.
All right, how deep into the trick bag will Tyler reach? A tail up on the first jump, and there was actually no trick from Adrian Larone. That means he's gonna have -30, unless there was a small trick that I missed. I saw a tail whip from Ty, and no trick from Adrian Larone. Larone obviously leading the race portion right now.
So what's going to happen down towards the bottom? They're going to line it up for the second jump. Adrian Larone.
Whoa, another -30, a backflip tabletop for Tyler.
Oh,
so
wait.
wow, Andy crosses the finish line pretty tight. Wow, things really changed in the last 70 feet of that run. It looks like a flat tire for Adrian Larone, wow.
Oh, there was a time, and that's why I landed on that knuckle.
That's the thing, anything can happen out here.
Let's take a look here at the jump sections right here and see what Ty does here.
Let's try to figure out at what point Adrian's tire popped. So Adrian did have a small trick. It was a toboggan. It was hard to see from that first angle. Obviously, just playing defense, not going to get the -30, but not going to be a score that's higher than that tail up. And then the flat tire existed. It looks like before that last jump, Tyler with the backflip table, Larone just trying to get over and cross the finish line. But he will probably receive that -30 score.
Yeah, indeed. So what is it going to be? The advantage right now, Adrian Larone, their first matchup, a 0.63 is what the advantage that Adrian Larone has over T-Mac. But with the flat tire and not getting that trick over that second jump, landing on that knuckle, getting a slight toboggan on that first one.
Well, he did a great job getting over the knuckle, like you said, but he couldn't muster a trick. Just getting the distance to cross the finish line was a task in itself.
So 209, here we go. So that's going to bring it down 65 for T-Max on there. That's a 127, a 65 in the second one, 0.45 right there. So not able to make it up. So that means Adrien Lerone will be moving on. And obviously that had to be because of his first run against T-Mac. That advantage was too much to make up.
I'm surprised he got a 0 score on the last jump. I would have expected that -30 because there was no trick.
All right, well, more racing coming up for you. Stay with us. Thomas Slavic and Greg Watts going to be going head-to-head in just a little bit. Stay with us. It's Crankworx Leger, stop number 2 on the Crankworx World Tour.
With 53.38, he won.
$30,000 trails in your pocket. Trailforks. Download the free app now.
Brought to you by Leger Bike Park, the best bike park in Europe. And a great day with the sun shining back down on us here. Greg Watts and Thomas Slavic. We, of course, are here in Leger. And our first of 4 broadcasts here in Leger, France. The second stop on the Crankworx World Tour here in the French Alps. And there's a look at our base elevation, 903 meters. Vertical drop, 920 meters. 3 lifts. And now we take our attention to the top of the race here to get things started again here. We are in our second races right now. And our next matchup, Thomas Slavic and Greg Watts.
Well, I think I see Thomas Slavic. No, okay, we got different heat now. All right, that makes sense. We got Bernard Kerr and Barry Nobles. Bernard Kerr coming into this one with just a 1/4 of a second advantage. So this one's pretty tight.
Yeah, and you know, Bernard Kerr, when the new format was released, he wasn't too happy about the new format.
Well, you know, he likes to win these things, but he also doesn't really want to have to work on those tricks. As we were saying in the earlier part of the show, he's a busy guy. He's a professional World Cup racer, had a great result last weekend, but also he's a team manager for Pivot Bikes, so not enough time to go find a foam pit.
0.25, that's the advantage for Bernard Kerr, the king of Crankworx 2015. $25,000 went to him for that big win. And so trying to defend that title with the bullseye on your back, Cam.
And going up against Barry Nobles right now, a guy with a heavy racing background and a couple tricks.
And Nobles qualified better. He qualified in that 7th spot. Here we go, back to racing.
All right, coming into the first jump, looks like a one-hander. Bernard Kerr taking himself out of his comfort zone, but a tail whip for Barry Nobles. That's obviously going to weigh heavy on the scorecards, but a really neck-and-neck race between these two guys here right now. In that climb section of the course, into the wet, slippery grass corner. Wow, very head-to-head.
And to the final jump right here.
Last jump, another one-hander for Bernard Kerr, but no trick for Barry Nobles. Another flat tire, wow. What a shame for Barry Nobles.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker right there for Nobles.
Well, how is this going to stack up? Because Barry had that tail up top, which obviously is going to help his score, but he might get that -30 without tricking the last jump.
Well, taking another look, there it is. You can see the one hand come off for Kerr.
I love to see Kerr doing that.
You got to put something in.
Well, we saw him win in France last year, and he didn't do a single trick. So with the format change, doing whatever it takes to just take a limb off, not get that -30. A true speed and style here now. Wow, look at Barry Nobles drifting around that last left-hander because he had no air in his tire.
So now it's time for the judges to put it together and see who's going to be moving on, but I got to think it's going to be Bernard Kerr at this point.
Yeah, you never know, though.
And there we go. So the advantage, 0.79. So they go to jump number 1 for Kerr.
It's really going to come down to these scores.
And that's a 0, so he keeps the 0.79. And a -30 on that one, so that drops it down to a 0.41. And look at this, 0.88.
And then a -30.
Yeah, right there. So look at this. Barry Nobles will be advancing on. He has moved on with that one. And Bernard Kerr has been eliminated, and Barry Nobles moving on to the next round.
That was a tight round, 0.09, small gap. But I'm actually surprised they gave the -30 to Bernard Kerr because he did, you know, he went out of his way to take his hand off. But
it was obvious he took his hand off, right?
They're judging hard. Maybe they're saying, all right, well, one-hander isn't a legitimate trick. You gotta take another limb off or a one-handed table or something. They're definitely being very strict on the scores.
So now we go back up top. Thomas Lemoyne and Louis Rebeau, 2 Frenchmen going head-to-head. Lemoyne with the advantage, 1.43. He's on my fantasy team. Let's see how he does here.
All right, Lemoyne and Rebeau side by side. A truck driver for Lemoyne, a tail whip for Louis Rebeau. Wow, Louis Rebeau qualified underneath Thomas Lemoyne, but he has a heavy lead in this race.
Yeah, Louis Rebeau qualified 15. Lemoyne qualified number 2.
It's amazing to see Lemoyne actually riding this. Shows how much he really cares about that King of Crankworx title because he's missing slopestyle practice right now. Big flat 360 for Louis. An over-rotated 360 for Thomas Lemoyne.
And he takes a huge digger right there, hoping he is okay. You can see Louis Rebeau getting right over to him right away. Yeah, he took that thing to flat big time.
Yeah, you see that in speed and style sometime. You're coming into that lip so fast because you're race-minded. And sometimes it's too fast for a trick like a 360 where you overshoot, over-rotate. Let's take a look back. On that right side of your screen right there, Thomas Lemoyne, right there, he's eyeing up his landing. He knows how deep he's going, he knows how much he's gonna over-rotate. Take a look on the left side of your screen now, that rear tire, landing past 360, exploding, and hopefully he's all right. Looks like he might have some sliced up palms, but he has slopestyle tomorrow, so we want to see him get some rest because the big day for him is tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you're not trying to land a 450 on that one right there, so unfortunately for him.
It's always a shame when we're in France and you have 2 French riders going against each other. You know only one's going to make it through. Louis Rebeau will be that guy.
Yeah, there you go, the 1.12, so that's going to increase 194, then 80 on Thomas Lemoyne, so 0.93, but then going down hard on that last one. So that's going to mean that Louis Rebeau will be moving on. He has done what he needed to do, and he will face Barry Nobles when they match up again. So we started with 16 out here, and we've now narrowed it down to our top 8, our elite 8, if you will. And you can see the matchups: Soderstrom and Bass, Ropalato, Darrell Brown, Adrian Lerone, Thomas Slavic, and Nobles and Rebeau will go head-to-head against each other.
Well, that'll be interesting to see Soderstrom and Van Steenbergen. Bass Van Steenbergen was able to make it out of a round where his competitor was doing tricks and he was just doing toboggans. Let's see if he can do it against the #1 qualifier.
Our Crankworx poll: Adrian Lerone has podium in the last 3 dual speed and style events. Now back in France, will he, #1, make it 4 for 6 podiums? #2, get himself a win in Leger? Or #3, will he crack under the home country pressure cam?
Well,
I tried to put drama in there.
Tweet #Crankworx with your prediction. What do you think, Brad?
I don't think he's the type of guy that will crack under pressure. I think Adrian Lerone, I definitely don't think that #3 was it at all, because Adrian Lerone is just a crusher when it comes down to it. He's 100% focused, and when he gets pissed, he means business.
Yeah, you know, I'm with you. He cares just about as much, maybe more than anybody about this event, so I don't think he's going to crack under that pressure.
Yeah, and taking a look at our women's bracket right there, there's your leader after their first matchup. Joe Kittner has the lead over Leo Whale. And Steffi Marth, she is at a disadvantage to Lucia Otchin. And then Annika Birchen has the advantage over Laura Bretthauser from Germany. And then you got Casey Brown, and she's got the lead over Geraldine Fink. Well, let's send things down to Hannah Bernard, who has a report for us. Hannah, what's going on?
Not much, guys, just hanging out here in the Finnish corral at the Dual Speed and Style. And I want to remind all of our viewers that this isn't the only event of the day. We have the official Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox, which will be airing at 8 p.m. Central European time. So make sure to tune in for that. I actually got a chance to talk to Jill Kittner, who we know as the Pump Track Killer. She's the most decorated lady in Pump Track. She was talking about how important it is to get those points because she is currently in the first place spot for the Queen of Crankworx race. So be sure to tune in at 8 o'clock. You guys are excited for it, right?
100% excited. Thank you so much, Anna, for that one. And yeah, we're doing double time today, Cam. We got two broadcasts going on. So we go back up top. Let's focus on the ladies here. They've already matched up once. So Jill Kittner with the advantage over Leah Whale. And look at that, by 4-2-1. Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, Jill would have to pop a tire or go off a course, miss a gate or something, have a big mistake to not make it out of this bracket. Heavy advantage, over 4 seconds, and she's just stretching it out right now in this second run of their heat. Obviously, qualified first for a reason, huh, Brad?
Yeah, exactly. So a little different of the course for the ladies here.
Yeah, it looks the same from this angle, but they have a little bit shorter gap on that jump right there, allowing them to really just squash through it because they don't have to trick. They don't need all that unnecessary airtime. Get the tires back to the ground and sprint through the finish.
So Leah will be eliminated on that one. Yeah, that's
what did
tough.
you say?
I don't know, but she's probably saying something like, "You really? I have to go against Jill Kittner first?" Okay.
Saying like, darn it, she's fast.
And she is fast. And as Hannah was saying, she's also in the lead for Queen of Crankworx right now. So a little pressure on Jill. A big win out here today would take a little bit of pressure off her shoulders, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pump track, dual slalom, two big strengths for Jill Kittner. And so she was out there in the whip off as well, trying to get all the points necessary.
She was trying to do that, right? So you can see, look at the ruts developing right there because of all the rain that we've had. Now we go back up top. Steffi Marth, she's going to go head-to-head. Lucia Otchin. And right now, Lucia Otchin, the Swiss rider, she's got the advantage over Steffi Marth in their first matchup here. Matchup number 2, 0.49 the difference. And here we go, back to racing.
Well, I can't wait to see them get to that rutted out right-hander. We just saw a close-up of Steffi coming up a little bit short here into that rutted out berm. Tire selection, pretty key today in this dual slalom event.
Yeah, you're right.
Kind of a throwback to the old World Cup days when dual slalom was included. Pretty cool to have a dual slalom event here because everybody misses it.
So pedaling those last few strokes into the last final jump right there and coming across. So with the, you see Otchin, the Swiss rider, with the advantage. And you can see that, that's the 0.24 right there. So now we go to the jumps and compare that and see if Steffi Marth can make up the difference on that. So as jumps not mattering for the ladies because they've changed this to more of a dual slalom for the ladies, and the jump sections matter for the guys. So it's all about just winning right now. Winning as far as speed goes for the ladies.
Pin it.
Pin it to win it. So, and there you go right there. So the first matchup you'll see in the next round, in the semis, you got Jill Kittner going against Lucia Otchin right there. So she has done what she needed to do. The good news is she's advanced, and the bad news is she's got to face Jill Kittner. And then you got Annika Birchen. She's coming up, and she's going against Laura Bretthausen. And speaking of course, Annika Birchen, she is our defending Queen of Crankworx. And there's a look at him when they crowned him right there. Bernard Kerr and Annika Birchen right there. You can see that. The champagne was on. And, of course, the champagne's on. It's $25,000, Cam.
Right. That's why you see everybody kind of taking themselves outside of their comfort zone, trying these events and wouldn't normally compete in, but it paid off for Bernard Kerr and Annika Birchen last year.
It makes you work on it, that's for sure. It makes you compete in everything, as Cam said right there. Laura Bretthauser from Germany, Annika Birchen from the Netherlands. She's the leader as they match up for the final time here. 0.79, that's the advantage for Birchen right there from the Netherlands as they do it one more time. Here we go.
All right, Annika Birchen obviously with a heavy advantage But yeah, they're pretty neck and neck over that first jump. But there we go. Annika stretching out here leading on. She doesn't have a ton of cushion, so she does want to just play it safe and cross the finish line first. I love that wet grass corner right there. You see them drifting into that rut. If it weren't for the rut, everybody would be sliding down that hill on their side.
You can see the shine right there on the berms.
Annika Bearden through the finish line first.
And that's what you need to do. For the ladies, it's not about the jumps, it's all about the speed. And so the 2-2-3, that's going to be it. And Annika Bearden continuing her quest to try to do the repeat of Queen of Crankworx, and she's on the right program right now. Let's check in with Hannah, standing alongside with our Queen of Crankworx 2015. Hannah.
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm here with the defending champion of the Queen of Crankworx title. Annika, you're going through to the next round. How important is it to be getting these points for that title this year?
It's really important if you want to win it, you know. Tough track this time, trying to find my way down, but slowly getting the hang of it, so hopefully it goes well.
All right, now you're currently in the 3rd spot. Are you going to be participating in the official pump track challenge here tonight as well?
Yes, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's next, so should be good.
All right, all those points are very valuable. You're reigning champ of the Queen of Crankworx, Annika Bearden.
Yeah, and she knows what it's all about because she's the one who came away with that huge check, and she's trying to do it again, so competing in both here tonight. And that's what you got to do, compete as many events, like you were saying. Even events you may not be comfortable with, you got to compete in them if you want to try and get away with Queen or King of Crankworx.
Well, by the end of the season, we're going to look back at this night as probably a pretty crucial turning point for those overalls, just because we have those 2 events in one day. So speed style, slalom, and pump track in the same day.
Casey Brown, Geraldine Fink, and it is very close between these two. Here we go.
Geraldine Fink out ahead over that first jump, but Casey almost stretching it out to 3 bike lengths now that they're into the 2nd straightaway. Casey qualified 2nd out here today. She won the whip off a couple days ago, so she's really looking for that Queen of Crankworx title.
It looks like this is going to be a tough one for Casey Brown, Geraldine Fink. And Casey Brown looks like has done it, 1.14. So Casey Brown and Annika Bearden will stack them, and they'll go against each other.
Wow, if Casey's able to get through Annika Bearden and meet up with the first place qualifier in the final, we're gonna see exactly what we look for in these dual slalom events. The first seeded rider against the second. That's always the great way to end the event in dual slalom.
And like you said, you know, you talk about Casey Brown, she's already got a win. She got it in the whip off, presented by Spank, so that took care of her on that one, so that gave her a win so far.
Oh, and she won the whip off in New Zealand too.
Yeah, she's got 2 on that one right there. So, all right, so the ladies, we've narrowed it down to the final 4. We got the Elite 8 when we come back. For the dudes, we're going to get them all ready to go here. Your 2nd stop here in Leger on your Crankworx World Tour. More coming up. It's your dual speed and style. Don't go anywhere.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in. 100% dedicated to one by. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one by.
Crankworx Leger, brought to you by SRAM, the power of bicycles with SRAM. And getting right back to the action for you right now. We've narrowed the field down with the guys. We had 16 of them, and we've just clipped 8 of them out of there, and now we got 8 to go here. And we go back to the top of the order. Our next matchup here is going to be Martin Soderstrom against Bas van Steenbergen.
Oh, this is going to be a good one, Brad.
And you know Martin will definitely wants redemption. There's a look at it right there. There's Martin. He goes against Bas. Rope-a-dope, Mitch Ropalato against Daryl Brown, Adrian Lerone, Tomas Slavic, they'll go head-to-head. Barry Knowles and Louis Rabot will go head-to-head. A couple Americans in there, Great Britain, France, Czech Republic, and Swede. The big Swede, you can see him on the left, and Bas van Sieberger on the right. So the big Swede against the big Stees. Their first matchup here today in Leger. Riders ready. And they're back to racing. Here we go, Cam.
Wow, Martin with a good snap out of the gate with that one-footed takeoff. Tail up on the first jump. Didn't look like Bas had something. Bas is ahead in the race, but is he going to get that minus 30 deduction for not doing a trick? Maybe he snuck in a toboggan. Did you see anything?
I did not see it. We'll have to look closely on the second jump as they approach it right now. Bas is going to come out at first. What's he got here?
Bas is blitzing. He's got that toboggan, but Martin's got the 360. Obviously going to be a higher scoring trick than the toboggan, but he crossed the finish line quite a bit behind. 1.49 behind Bas van Steenbergen.
That's a big difference right there. 1.49. Hopefully Martin here can close the gap, so when they go head-to-head on the second matchup, he has a chance to get it, because if it gets too far ahead of him, then it's playing catch-up, and you don't want to do that in your second and final race. Let's take a look at the replay here and take a look at the jump sections for both of our riders here.
The key thing we got to look for here is, did Bas do a trick? He did. He put his hand on the seat, so that's going to be a saving grace to get a 0 point.
Watch him again.
Score. Yeah, put his hand on the seat there
There
too.
it is.
Because if you didn't do that, you might get a minus 30. So it's good that he did at least something, but it's still going to result in a 0. But the tail up in the 360, getting a little cross-rutted there for Martin.
Well, now it comes down to this. 1.49 advantage going to Bas. And so they'll go to jump number 1, and Martin should definitely close that up. Well, there's Bas's jump, a 0 on jump 1, 0 on jump 2. That brings it down to a 6.7 with the jump number 1 and a 65 for jump number 2. So the advantage only now goes over to Martin Soderstrom, 0.15.
So we've seen it go both ways now. But I guess that's exactly what the athletes were looking for right there. To be about a second and a half behind, but to do good enough tricks that if your competitor only did a toboggan, you're still able to advance. So that's what the athletes were looking for. It looks like we have a true speed and style on our hands now.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's smart for the racer side of things. The racers want to come out here and just do something so you don't get the deduction, so you at least just get a 0. So if you're super fast and you do a toboggan, I like Bas what he's trying to do right there, but he's going to need to beat him by a lot more speed-wise if he's just going to throw 2 toboggans in there.
Yeah, exactly. Martin Soderstrom is really fast as well. So if that heat were to have been with Bas van Steenbergen and somebody who had tricks but was slower, then they wouldn't have had a chance. It's the fact that Martin was quick and had those more difficult maneuvers.
And here we go, Mitch Ropalato against Daryl Brown. I have Daryl Brown on my fantasy.crankworx.com team right now, so you know I'm pulling for Daryl Brown. I'm an American, so I'm pulling for Mitch Ropalato. But it comes down to, of course, the fantasy at this point. So here we go. Riders ready, back to racing. First matchup between these two guys, Cam.
Well, they're both really quick, but Daryl Brown is going to have the tricks. He's got that dirt jump slopestyle background. He had the 360 tuck no-hander on the first jump, and he is hanging tight against the downhill bike of Mitch Ropalato.
But Ropalato does have tricks. Will he tend to use one here?
But look how quick Daryl Brown is going. I mean, Mitch Ropalato is a World Cup level downhill racer, and Daryl's right there with the backflip tuck no-hander. Boosting high, just barely making it through that gate. That was awesome.
0.76, the advantage on speed for Mitch Ropalato.
Daryl was right there.
He kept with him. He kept with him on that one. Daryl Brown, of course, out of Great Britain, so maybe used to the wetter conditions probably.
Looking forward to that replay. I want to see exactly what Mitch did. I know it wasn't anything rotational. I was focusing on Daryl Brown. He had those variations.
So we'll take a look at it right now. Here we go, 0.76 going to Mitch Ropalato right now, that's speed. So now we look at the jump sections. This is how we whittle things down. A 0 on jump number 1 for Mitch. No change there, 0 on jump number 2. Daryl Brown obviously at 90, there you go. And then an 80, so that turns into a big advantage. 1.39 for Daryl Brown over Mitch Ropalato. That's big stuff.
Wow, Daryl really dumped out the bag, and in hindsight, now that he's learning this format, he would have actually been able to do some easier tricks and still made it, because he had, what was it, 1.4 over a second above Mitch Ropalato there once the scores were tallied in.
Well, and I like the new format, Cam. I like what's going on with the new format, because the format does make a difference right now. It makes you forced to do something. So if you're a racer, you don't have a trick background, you got to do something, as we saw with Bass getting the toboggans in there.
Well, it makes it good for the spectators because everybody likes watching the head-to-head race, but it's nice to see the fireworks as well. But I know there were a lot of people who weren't happy with the results from Rotorua because there was not a trick in the winning run. So looks like they fixed it.
Yeah, I like the way it is. I mean, because after what we saw in Rotorua with Slavic getting the win and not having the tricks out of there, to change that up and make sure that these guys, it's speed and style. So you need the speed and you need the tricks. You have to have a combo package to get things going, right?
Yeah, the way it's working, you can't just have tricks either. You know, the time is still definitely weighing heavy.
Hey, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
In, out, and on the bubble. You ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's do in, out, and on the bubble. Here we go. Well, what is in, Cam? Could you help us out on this one?
Well, the women's category, it's pretty cool. You know, we have the men's speed and style, but now we're also giving the women a stage as well with the dual slalom event, adapting it so they can actually try to fight for those points for that Queen of Crankworx title on the slalom course as well.
What's out, Cam?
Well, in Rotorua, tricks were out, and that was pretty tough pill to swallow for the spectators and the athletes as well. People weren't happy. So, leading into on the bubble, Brad.
Okay, on the bubble. What is on the bubble this event here?
On the bubble was the format. And based on what happened in Rotorua, the format has been changed. So it was kind of on the bubble between then and now. But now that we've seen some brackets go through and it's really a little bit more interesting to watch, I'm pretty excited that the format was on the bubble and we've got a better show on our hands now.
Well, it's evolving, I guess, would be the way you would explain how speed and style, because it's evolved over the years, and this is evolving in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, tricks were out in Rotorua, but they're definitely in here in Crankworx Leger.
Well, it's going to be interesting because you see the next matchup, we're going to see Adrian Lerone and Thomas Slavic. Well, guys that might not want to throw some tricks in there, just might want to just race it on down. Those similar style right there. Then you got Bernard Kerr and Louis Herbeau. We all know Louis Herbeau's got the tricks, and Bernard Kerr, he's not too happy with the format.
I would like to hear the chatter in the gate. I wonder if there's any deals being made. Like, hey, if you don't trick, I won't trick, then the minus 30s will just cancel out.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, that's a good thing. Adrian Lerone, Thomas Slavic, going head-to-head. Here we go, back to racing.
All right, well, the truth, did they make a pact? No, a backflip for Lerone, a one-hander for Slavic. Coming out of his comfort zone, he knows what it feels like to stand on the top step of that podium. He wants it again, taking a hand off, making sure he doesn't get that minus 30 deduction.
As we take it to the bottom section, here comes the final jump for our riders.
Last jump, an X up for Slavic, and another backflip for Lerone. Love to see that.
Lerone with a couple of backies in that mix.
Well, we're going to find out how this works now.
Yes, we will.
With somebody blitzing through the course, but also playing defense against somebody also hanging tight, but some big tricks.
Well, size does matter. The bigger the yellow bar, the better your chances moving on, right?
Well, let's see. Let's see who's got a bigger one.
All right, well, let's take a look at replays here and see if we can take a look at a couple of those backies that Adrian Lerone showed us.
So we were speculating if there was going to be a pact about no tricks, but definitely everybody's got their race face on today. A backflip for Adrian Lerone, a one-hander for Thomas Slavic. Thomas Slavic crossing this finish line first, playing defense with that X-ups, starting to pedal before he even touches the ground. Another backflip for Adrian Lerone.
Okay, now it comes down to this right there. See what the judges say on this one.
This is the true test of the format right here.
This is the true test. Okay, so 1.16, the advantage on speed, Thomas Slavic. But Adrian Lerone, remember, he had the two backflips. We'll see what the score is for the backies for Adrian Lerone. He just missed King last year. He's going to get 55, so that's going to drop it down to a 4.7. Will he get another 55? Oh! Yes, it will. So that means Adrian Lerone will have the advantage by 0.22.
Wow.
Well, interesting right there. The backflip paying off for the pump track killer. Well, Crankworx, the Crankworx poll, Adrian Lerone has podium in the last 3 dual speed and style events. Now back in France, will he, number 1, make it 4 for 6 podiums? Number 2, get himself a win in Leger? Or 3, will he crack under the home country pressure?
It doesn't look to be cracking under any pressure right now.
I'm picking 1, man. I think he's going to get a podium. I feel like he knows the changes that have been made. He's got a backflip in his bag of tricks, so maybe he just keeps coming with that so he doesn't get zeros and doesn't get deductions.
Well, watching how well that worked for Adrian Lerone, you got to wonder, would it be the perfect storm if Thomas Slavic comes into Whistler with a backflip? Because he's obviously going so much faster than the rest of the field. If he could go upside down, would he be unbeatable?
Great Britain versus France here. Bernard Kerr against Louis Rabot here. Rabot on the right, Kerr on the left. Kerr, the defending king of Crankworx from last year, back to racing. Here we go, their first matchup.
All right, Bernard Kerr makes it to the jump first. Looks like he did a one-sider, taking one hand and one foot off, but that's not going to be any match for Louis Rabot's tail whip. Bernard Kerr with a healthy lead right now into the climb. And we're making our way into the grass corners, Brad. All right, Kerr with a heavy lead coming to the final jump. A one-hander, but a nice flat 360 for Louis Rabot, getting right to the pedals. A .75, not very much of a lead for Bernard Kerr considering those tricks out of Louis.
Yeah, .75, that's gonna be a tough one right there to come up with.
Man, Louis has the backing of the crowd big time.
Well, let's take a look at the replays here and see if we can kind of break that down for you. Jump number 1, we start with. There's that one hand, definitely stuck that one hand out.
Yep, it was a one hand. I thought for a minute that maybe a foot came off too, but it was a one-hander for Bernard Kerr. A tight race. Kerr crossing the finish line first,
that hand?
but not by a ton. And Louis with that huge trick, I gotta think this is gonna be a shoe-in for Louis.
I just love how he makes sure you see that hand off there. He puts that thing out, he puts it behind his back. I definitely took my hand off on that one.
Hard to miss that bright yellow jersey with the one-hander.
Yeah, maybe that was on purpose. Maybe that was by design, Cam. All right, .75, the advantage on speed. Kerr owns that one. But jump 0 on jump number 1. Judge is not liking the one-hander, 0 on jump number 2. So now it goes Louis Rabot. Let's see how much he makes up the difference. And jump number 170, boom, does it with one jump on jump number 2. A couple of 70s, so that's gonna give him the advantage. 1.01, the advantage for Louis Rabot now. Gotta have the tricks, man. You gotta have the tricks, and the judge is not feeling the one-hander.
Well, it's going to be really interesting seeing what tricks the racers have coming into Whistler. Seeing that just a backflip can really take you far.
Well, yeah, you just saw that with Adrian Lerone. So here, as you see the green dots right there, Martin Soderstrom, he's got the advantage over Bass. They're going to go head-to-head again. And you got Daryl Brown. He's got the advantage over Mitch Ropolato. Adrian Lerone, he's got the advantage over Slavic. And Louis Rabot, the advantage over Kerr. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking good. Daryl Brown, I got him on my fantasy team, man.
I have been completely worked over with my choices. I'm envying your fantasy choices.
You were talking some trash to me.
Well, I was feeling confident. I had some good picks. I spent some money on my dual speed and style athletes.
Fantasy.crankworx.com. Play along. It's a whole lot of fun, and you could win a trip for 2 to head on out there to Whistler and enjoy the final stop, Whistler Crankworx in August. Well, we got more coming up. Dual speed and style coming up right after this. Stay with us.
$30,000 trails in your pocket. Crankworx. Download the free app now.
And Crankworx Leger, brought to you by Leger, where the action never stops. Cam McCall, Brad J here in the French Alps here in Leger, stop number 2, the Crankworx World Tour. Well, coming up for you later on, Leger, the Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox coming up for you. That's going to be cracking off here. Don't want to miss that one. 2 webcasts, or 2 broadcasts we're going with here today. So stacking them, we were supposed to get speed and style in yesterday. The rain stopped us from that, but it ain't stopping us today.
Action-packed day today, fun in the sun.
Leger, the fine people on hand, and you can see that blue sky. But let's check in. 3rd member of our team, standing by, Hannah Bernard. Hannah?
Hey, thanks very much, Brad. Just wanted to give a little bit of an update on a few of the guys that we actually saw absent from the contest here today. First up, Greg Watts. We saw him not competing. I had a chance to catch up with him. His bike actually didn't arrive here in Leger until last night, so he didn't get a whole lot of practice, and he was also complaining about an aching back as well, so he dropped out. Another guy, Cam, you said, Thomas Junon, he would want to get into that slopestyle practice. That is correct. He wanted to make sure that he could get a few runs in before the contest tomorrow. And then we have Carson Storch as well. I chatted with his competitor that he was supposed to face, Martin Soderstrom. He actually crashed out in practice, hit the side of his head, so he decided to exit the contest. So there's your update on the guys that were missing from the dual speed and style here today.
Look at the big brain on Cam right there with the call. You said Tommy G probably pulling out because of practice, and he did just that, right?
It's a smart move for him, but man, I'm bummed to hear about Carson. I didn't know he had a crash. I hope he heals up nice and quick.
So here's our guys here. We've narrowed it down to our top 8 guys. And Martin Soderstrom, he has the advantage over Bass. Darrell Brown, the advantage over Mitch. And then Adrian Lerone, the advantage over Thomas Slavic, who was the winner out there in Rotorua. Then you got Louis Ribot. He's got the advantage over Bernard Kerr. So a different format, evolving ever so greatly here in Leger. Crankworx World Tour as our riders get ready for their second matchups. We got the ladies coming up as well. Cam McCall and Brad J on the mic bringing it to you. Stay with us for Pump Track later on today. We'll be cracking that one off as well. And look at that blue sky. Haven't seen it in a few days. Good to see it, man.
I knew it was up there somewhere.
And there you go, right there, dual speed and style going on. All right, so Cam, we're talking about a lot of the favorite trails. You and I talked about what was that, the Noir Trail?
Canyon Noir.
Yeah.
I can't say Noir, really.
I can't say
I always thought it was Noir. Canyon Noir.
So many fun places out here to ride, though, right?
Absolutely. It's great to see the blue sky because maybe people won't be just sliding down the mud all day. Even though they had big smiles on their face, I'm sure they're looking forward to that to dry up just a little bit.
Well, you can see Martin Soderstrom getting in the gate right there. He's on the right on this one. And Bass Van Steenbergen, he is on the left. Canada versus Sweden, and look at this, it's only a .15. So the loser out here is done for the day. Will it be Martin, or will he be able to keep that advantage, Cam, as these guys go at it for a second and final time here? Here we go.
Well, this is tight right here. This isn't a shoe-in for Martin because he's obviously going to be wagering more. He's got the tail up, but then you run the risk of slipping a pedal or crashing on that trick, so he's got to hang tight. To Bass Van Steenbergen, he's behind Bass Van Steenbergen right now, and Bass ripping through the gears on that climb. Bike choice may be key right now. I know Martin looks to be running a single speed.
Looking down on his bike,
yeah, he has.
Something wrong for Martin right there.
Wow.
And you could see him looking down on his bike early in that, so something went wrong. And frustration kicking in big time for Martin Soderstrom. Just can't get a break out here today.
Man, he's so bummed. Not focusing on slopestyle this year, taking a break from that after just a circle of injuries. Kept repeating, and so he's putting all of his effort into, there it is, a flat tire. Putting all of his effort into speed and style.
Well, let's see if we can find out when that went wrong for him. Let's take a look at the replay here and see. We've seen a lot of flat tires out here. So is it right here where he does it?
It looks like he's still got air landing that tail whip, but did you notice how sluggish he was coming up that hill? I'm going to say his tire's flat already. That's why.
Yeah, looks down right there. But that was the second time he looked down. After that jump, he looked down too as well. So maybe the jump caused it, I'm not sure. But we've seen like 3 or 4 flat tires.
And that's the elimination round. Even though he had the advantage, he does not have a chance to go try to make up that gap from Bass because he already set the differential. Martin Soderstrom's going to be going home, man. I didn't think it was going to happen.
I did not. Did you have him picked? Was he on your fantasy team?
He was far too expensive, actually. I think he was like a $9,300 choice.
Well, taking a look here. As we go back up top now, we see Darrell Brown and Mitch Ropolato. Darrell Brown, look at the advantage that the DB has, a 1.39. Here we go, back to racing.
Darrell Brown actually getting the whole shot and pulling the 360 tuck no-hander. But Mitch Ropolato running that downhill bike, handling the corners really quick. But man, oh man, is Darrell Brown actually doing well in that hardtail.
He's trying to stay with him, trying to keep it close. One more to go here.
Mitch with that one-footed whip. And Darrell once again, back foot tuck no-hander. through the finish line last.
Yeah, the back he tucked no-hander. That's going to score him good. He already had the advantage, so I got to think.
I think they were giving him like 90s and 80s for those rotational tuck no-hander tricks in the first round. So, yes, he crossed the finish line quite a bit behind Mitch, but maybe enough.
All right, rope-a-dope, 0.62. He's got the advantage. Let's take a look at the replay of the jump section and see what the judges are looking at here.
All right. So I know Darrell Brown had that 360 tuck no-hander. Looks like Mitch Ropalato was saluting the crowd there, getting the one-hander, getting that hand off the grips, avoiding that -30 dock in points.
What does he do on the last one? Okay, he just kicks it out a little bit.
And you know, it's not called speed and tricks, it's called speed and style. And that one-footed whip is about as stylish as it gets.
Yeah.
It'll probably still result in a 0, but better than a -30.
0.62, the advantage for Ropalato. So taking a look at it right now. So 0 for jump number 1 for Ropalato, 0 on jump number 2. So does Darrell Brown make it up? Yes, he does. No problemo at all. A 90, and that's combined with an 80, so that takes it up to a 153. And Darrell Brown is advancing on to face Bas van Steenbergen. Wow. And you can see the coursework going on. Well, let's take a look at the brackets, how they're shaping up so far. So we've seen Mitch Ropalato get eliminated, Martin Soderstrom get eliminated.
I want to see who Darrell Brown may meet up with. Let's see. So he's going to be advancing over Mitch Ropalato.
So he could be going up against, you know, Adrian Lerone. Or
looks like Bas van Steenbergen.
Yeah, so Darrell Brown will go against him, but yeah, for the rest of these guys, Adrian Lerone, Louis Ribot, maybe they could be going at it. Well, let's check back in with Hannah Bernard, who's standing by. Hannah, what's going on?
Hey, thanks very much, guys. Wanted to give a little bit of an update on some of these guys that aren't actually crossing the finish line. It's because of flat tires. We've seen about 4 or 5 flat tires on this course. I've been chatting with the guys that have had these technical issues. They're saying the course is riding very, very hard. There's lots of little rocks that have fallen down in the rain. So it's a really big bummer for these guys coming out and bringing their best to have those technical issues trump their speed. But it's going to be the guys that are going to overcome the conditions that are going to get on the podium here today in the dual speed and style. Guys?
Oh, yeah, we've seen it. Like we were talking about, Cam, a lot of flat tires out there. I mean, a bummer for Martin Soderstrom. He was ready to try and do business and not able to continue on for him. Adrian Lerone now, Thomas Slavic going at it, 0.22. That's not much of an advantage, is it, Cam, with this one?
It's not a lot, especially considering how fast Thomas Slavic is, but knowing that Adrian Lerone has that backflip in his pocket, that's a nice little safety net for him.
So will he go for it again?
Oh, wow. Not pulling the backflip. Not a very good idea for Adrian Lerone. Going for that toboggan. He wants to just race Slavic. I don't know how good of an idea that is. Slavic is looking so strong.
Maybe he just wants to keep it close to the final jump and then drop the backflip on the final jump. Here we go. Lerone making moves right here. Doubles it up. Here we go to the final jump.
He has to flip. Good.
Yeah.
Gets the flip, stays tight.
I see what he was doing there. He just wanted to stay tight with him and save it for the last jump.
That's the strategy. Looking at the race portion of it and deciding to split it right down the middle. Stay as close as possible and then pick up that easy score at the bottom, knowing that Thomas Slavic didn't have anything more than a one-hander.
Because he knows he can keep up with him speed-wise, so that's the important thing right there, is just keep up with him on the speed side of things.
Yeah, no sense in risking it twice, for sure. We got to think about that as well. Doing the trick is a risky maneuver. You could just throw the whole thing away in one move.
All right, let's take a look at the jump sections here one more time. We'll go to the first one where Adrian Lerone elected not to do the backflip. Or actually, we're going to just move right on to that second one.
And it was pretty intelligent as well, because he actually was able to see the advantage or disadvantage that he would have at the end, and being able to see Thomas Slavic in front of him, then he can make the decision. Yep, I better lean back and pop that flip.
Well, now it comes to the judge's hands right there. Was that good strategy by Adrian Lerone? 0.28 is what he was trying to make up. So now it comes up to the jump, so 0 for Slavic, so no change there. Another 0. So yeah, this is going to do it right there. So Adrian Lerone should be getting it on jump number 2. Oh yeah, no problem at all there. A 55 for the backy, so 0.41. So Adrian Lerone will be moving on.
Well, if you haven't voted yet for our Crankworx poll, I think now would be a good time to slide in a late entry, because he's obviously not cracking under the pressure. And make yourself look smart now. Say, yeah, Adrian Lerone's going to take this thing.
Well, and I didn't think, too. I mean, when I saw the question number 3 come up, I just don't think he's the type of guy that cracks under pressure. He is always a podium threat. So even if he doesn't win a competition, he's always like top 3, it seems like, whether it's pump track or whether it's speed and style.
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes, too. He's super racer-minded, and definitely this stuff means a lot to him.
Well, Bernard Kerr and Adrian Lerone battled it all season long last year, and it came down to Whistler, and it came down to basically the final events, and Bernard Kerr came away with $25,000 extra and the title of King of Crankworx. Well, that wasn't enough for Bernard Kerr. He was so hungry to come out here and defend that title, and he wanted to see if he can do it again. Well, we're going to find out if he can move on in. Bernard Kerr going against Louis Ribaud. That's right, they're stacked and racked, and they're coming up next. Right after this, we'll be right back with more racing. Bernard Kerr stacking up with Louis Ribaud coming up next.
'To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
$30,000 trails in your pocket. Crankworx. Download the free app now.
Crankworx Leger, brought to you by Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake. Whistler Mountain Bike Park. And also brought to you by Leger Bike Park, the best bike park in Europe. Beautiful day here in Leger. Brad J. Cam McCall bringing all the action to you for our first broadcast, the dual speed in style here in Leger. Got pump track coming up later today, slope style on your Saturday and downhill on your Sunday. Here's where we're at right now, dual speed and style for the guys on the road to the final. You can see Bas van Steenbergen, and he's going to be facing Daryl Brown. Adrian Lerone did what he needed to do, and he got rid of Thomas Slavic, so he is there. But who's going to face Adrian Lerone? Well, that's going to be down to Bernard Kerr or Louis Ribaud. Louis Ribaud with the advantage, and you can see the advantage right there, Cam. That's 1.01.
Man, Louis is looking so good today. I have a feeling he'd have to make a mistake not to make it out of this round. He's got the tricks. He's hanging tight to Bernard Kerr. Let's see how it goes.
So over to the first jump.
Louis Ribaud with that tail. Look how he went so low, too, salvaging the speed portion of it while getting the trick score.
Yeah, good call on that. Ooh, getting a little loose.
That inside berm is so tight with so many ruts. Bernard Kerr is going to enter this final straightaway first, tripling into that rhythm section. The one-hander, of course, off the jump. The flat 360 for Louis Rabot. He's going to have to get on the pedals through the gate. Wow, 0.52 of an advantage. Louis.
And Louis goes down. Rabot goes down at the end. But that doesn't matter at all, as we'll take a look at the jump sections here. Once again, Bernard Kerr going elected in that one-hander out. So let's take a look at jump number 1 here and take a look at how that stacked up.
This run for me was what speed and style is all about. Look at Louis Rabot staying so low while tail whipping, getting his feet back on the pedals as soon as possible, eyes up to that next berm. And he did the same thing down here on this jump, this time with a 360. Watch him land and get right back on the pedals, looking at that gate, making sure he didn't squirrel out. If you miss a pedal there, or blow a pedal, it would be easy to actually miss that gate. Louis Rabot staying focused.
Watch the yellow bar up top, 0.52 the advantage on that one right there. Is the bar gonna go down? Yeah, it's gonna go in. Louis, a 70 on the first one, a 65. That's gonna be a 1.18. Judges still not feeling that one-hander right there, so that's gonna do it. The king of Crankworx has been dethroned out here in Leger.
Well, he's picking up points, making it this far for sure, but he would have loved to make it into that next round, but it wasn't gonna happen. Getting paired up with Louis Rabot. Tough go for Bernard Kerr.
Well, you can see another great day here in Leger. Taking a look at where we are located. A new location in France. We were in Les Deux Alpes, now in Leger, just an hour outside of Geneva Airport, nestled in the French Alps. And
90 trails, Brad?
90, my man.
Guess that's why they call it the best bike park in Europe.
Right?
3 lifts you can put your bike on.
Yeah, and everybody here, like the staff, the riders, talking with everybody here in the last few days. Everybody's just really enjoying their time here, not just on the mountain, but even in the town as well, too.
Friendly people, for sure. Every shop you roll into, you're greeted with a smile. I like this place.
So taking a look at for the ladies here, we're down to our final 4 for the women. We have Anneke Beerten from the Netherlands, Casey Brown, she's in there, and Swiss rider Lucia Oetjen going against Jill Kittner. And Jill Kittner in the lead. We talked about King of Crankworx. She's in the lead for Queen of Crankworx right now.
Casey's got to be biting at the heels, though. She won that whip off.
She's nipping
in New Zealand and here. And she qualified second for this. So will she meet up with the first place qualifier in the final? Well, Jill would have to get out of this round for that to happen.
Yeah, I got to think this one's going to be Jill, but she doesn't get the start. But she does there, makes up for it.
Hit up for a pretty quick, didn't she?
She could have just gave her a head start.
Look at her wrapping that lower right-hand berm. I love watching riders rip through the low side of that right-hand berm. Almost looks like a surf turn. They're connecting into that rut just on rails, basically. Big lead there for Jill Kittner. Easily crossing the finish line first.
So this is the dual slalom, we call this one for the ladies. Dual speed and style for the guys. The jump's not counting for ladies. It's all about just the speed here and to get across that line first. And Jill Kittner, no problem there. She doesn't get the jump out of the gate, but she sure the heck made up for it, didn't she, Ken?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're expecting her to do well in this, but look at those ruts. You know, tire choice is really important. We've seen a lot of riders get flat tires, so, you know, it's never a shoe-in for anybody, even if you're the first place qualifier like Jill Kittner.
So that means that, of course, Jill Kittner will take the full advantage on this one. And they will match up again. So now we go to Anneke Beerten from the Netherlands versus Casey Brown now. In the semifinals here for the ladies. Live from Leger, Brad J. Camacall. Anneke Beerten on the left from the Netherlands and Casey Brown on the right. And Casey Brown, the winner of the whip-off, as Cam was saying. So 1 win under her belt out here. Can she take care of Anneke Beerten and move on to the finals? She's going to need to do it here, try to get the advantage. Here we go, Casey Brown taking his slight advantage at the start, but Anneke Beerten right on top.
This could definitely be a crucial turning point moment for the Queen of Crankworx race right here. The fact that Anneke Beerten is the defending champion, Casey Brown has been winning events in New Zealand and in Leger. She's qualified second here. If she can make it through this round and meet up with Jill. Jill's leading the Queen of Crankworx at the moment.
Yeah, nice.
This is big for Casey Brown right now.
So Casey Brown airing it out, and her advantage will be a 0.42. Going against Anna Kubirtin when they match up again. So Casey Brown not going to let Jill just try and run away from this thing and let, you know, she knows that, you know, by winning the whip off, every single competition that she gets in there, the higher she can finish, the more points she gets towards the overall Queen of Crankworx, which is coming up in August, the deciding factor in Whistler.
Yeah, if I was Jill Kittner, I'd be watching my back right now with Casey Brown. She's looking really strong.
And I kind of feel bad because I was talking to Jill Kittner a couple months ago out there in Santa Rosa, and I was saying, man, you're almost a lock for the Queen.
Oh,
with those
no, you
wins.
don't ever want to jinx somebody, Brad.
I feel bad. All right, well, speaking of whip off, man, I was in my room and I heard this familiar voice just screaming about all the whips being done. And then I looked outside, that was you calling the whip off.
Yeah, my apologies about that.
No, it's okay. I liked it, man. You got me interested. Let's take a look at some of the sights and some of the sights from the whip off.
The whip off was insane. Like, to be quite honest, we were looking at a wooden takeoff and a muddy landing thinking, is this the best idea ever? We've always had dirt takeoffs and dirt landings for the whip off, but after a few riders, guinea pig the jump, it was on, man. Big whips, people throwing Supermans, throwing knack-knacks, backflips, and then of course down to business, getting past 90. One of the highlights for me was the amplitude of Carson Storch and Louis Revolt, and then just the combination of flat and sideways by Ryan Howard. Of course, 360s coming from Andrea Lacandegui. We would expect nothing less, but it was all about Bernardo Cruz and Casey Brown taking the titles.
Well, very consistent riding, Bernardo Cruz. But, you know, our dog is always up in the mix, too, as well. You can always count on our dog to get up there in a whip-off.
Yep, our dog coming away with that second place. So it's been a good week so far, despite the rain. We're finally getting down to action here. And once you watch those highlight videos, we see we're really popping off here in Leger.
So taking a look at the men's bracket right now, this is how it's stacking up. Now we're down to our final four for the guys. Bass Van Steenbergen going against Daryl Brown. Then you got Adrien Lerone against Louis Rebaud. French against French. Great Britain against Canada.
Well, we got racer versus jumper and racer versus jumper. Final four split 50-50 down the middle between the two types of riders that we see in this form of competition, dual speed and style.
So Daryl Brown on the right, Bass Van Steenbergen on the left. Daryl Brown, their first matchup between each other. It'll be interesting to see his strategy on the first jump. Does he just try and hang with Bass as we saw what Adrien Lerone did? Or does he just go ballistic? Here we go, back to racing.
Well, check this out. The trees are moving, but that's not bothering Daryl Brown. He still goes for that 360 tuck no-hander despite the breeze. But man, is Bass Van Steenbergen ever looking fast.
Daryl Brown trying to close that gap here.
Wow, inside line for Daryl Brown, hopping over that berm. Looks like he gained speed on that.
Doubled it up, too, at the end. He's going to do the tuck knee backflip no-hander, putting that one down.
Oh, man, and we know what scores are going to be assigned to that. That 360 tuck no-hander has been getting scored the highest out of all the tricks we've seen so far.
So it's a 1.01. So I got to think, even with that advantage right there, that I think that Daryl Brown's going to he's going to eclipse him on this one and take the advantage. Let's take a look at the replays.
One thing the judges have been doing is they've been consistent. They've been consistently giving Daryl Brown a score of a 90 for that 360 tuck no-hander we see on the screen right now. Huge extension, landing completely straight, which is good for the score, but also good for his speed because he's not losing any speed by landing sideways.
And then the final jump.
Final jump toboggan for Bass Van Steenbergen. We know that's what he has. He's not going to dip into his bag, pull anything unexpected out. And that backflip tuck no-hander. Focus on the extension for Daryl Brown. Arms all the way extended, but of course getting them back on strong enough to be able to sprint through the finish line.
So staying with Bass was the key there. Bass does have the advantage on speed, 1.01. But you know when it comes down to jumps, I think Daryl Brown is going to get the advantage here. 0-0 for Bass on both those jumps. And then 90, just like I said.
That's it for Bass. He's out, man.
He only needed one right there. So he'll have the advantage now, 1.07.
Well, Bass really hung tough with just that one-handed toboggan, but no match for the huge combos of Daryl Brown. Bass has an airbag in his backyard. It's time to train up for Whistler.
So now we go French against French here. And we got Adrien Lerone, Louis Rebaud. Adrien Lerone's so smart when it comes to competition. He knows what he needs to do. He just wants to keep it close, but Louis Rebaud has a huge bag of tricks.
Yeah, you can be as smart as you want, but when you're going up against somebody like Louis Rebaud who has the whole package, you're going to have to just turn your brain off and go for it.
I almost think that if you're Adrian Lerone here, you go backflip on both of these jumps.
100%.
And here we go. First one, okay, he's on.
There we go. Backflip for Lerone, tail up for Louis Rabot. Louis Rabot actually ahead of Adrian Lerone in the race right now, maintaining that lead out of that 90-degree right-hand berm.
Look at him staying neck and neck here.
Inside line for Louis, connecting to that berm. A slight bobble, but not losing very much speed. He's ahead of Adrian Lerone. Will we see that flat spin 360? We do. Lerone with the backflip, but Louis Rabot with the bigger trick and the faster run.
My goodness, oxygen up here. That was the good one right down to the end.
That's what it's all about right there.
Yes. Let's take a look at the replays here. And you can see Louis Rabot obviously tired after that one. Take a look here. There's the back. He knew that was coming.
Lerone knew he had to take out all the stops, so he flipped. And right there, Lerone was ahead, but that's the only part of the race where Lerone led. Louis Rabot leading the entire race after the first corner, crossing the finish line first with the bigger tricks. The flat spin 360 is going to score higher than a backflip every day of the week.
Yeah, look at that. Well, a little camaraderie there.
It's cool to see that. You know, these guys both want to knock the other guy out, but
not by much.
Yeah, they want it to be a nice, tight race.
It's a tie. Everyone's a winner. No, coming in here, we'll wait for that to come in and see how is it going to stack up. This is a very interesting one right there. So obviously, Louis Rabot has advantage on speed-wise, that's for sure, because he got across that finish line before.
Well, I can guarantee you he has the advantage on the tricks, too.
Yeah.
This is a no-brainer here.
Here we go. You can see both of them. Louis doesn't even want to watch. 0.10.
He's already thinking about the next round.
So now we go to the jumps. Louis Rabot is 70. Then another 70, so 0.182. Adrian Lerone, the jumps for him. He's not going to beat that, is he? 55. He lowers it down to 115. Another 65, a cleaner, but 0.36. So Louis Rabot will have the advantage.
Wow. It's interesting to see them scoring two backflips differently. It must have been some subtlety there.
So is it height? Is it amplitude or something like that?
It must be amplitude. You know, that's got to be a factor that weighs on the judges' scorecard, because it was two backflips, but one was 10 points higher than the other one. The only explanation is it must have been higher in the air, too.
Or cleaner landing, too, stopping the landing.
Could have been, yeah.
Might be looking at that. All right, well, I think it's time to check in with Hannah Bernard, third member of our team standing by here in our first broadcast of the day. Hannah?
Thank you very much, Brad. Well, I have here with me Martin Soderstrom. We're going to get the lowdown of what happened on his second run up against Bas van Steenbergen. And tell me what happened on your run, Martin.
Yeah, I tried to look happy now. I'm actually pretty bummed. I was leading after the first one against Bas Steenbergen. And yeah, then I just sprinting and I looked down. I was like, I'm not moving forward. What's happening? And I had a flat in the rear wheel and just couldn't keep on going. So, I mean, that's the hard part. It's the racing took me out this time, but yeah, I mean, at least the sun came out and it looks good for finals now. So I'm looking forward to see what the guys have.
Yes, and the good thing is you have another event tonight. We have pump track going down. How are you going to regroup and get ready for that contest here tonight?
Oh yeah, I guess I just have to like get all the anger out now, and then the pump track looks really good, so I'm actually very excited to do that. So I think Adrian Lerone actually designed it, and he was second over there in New Zealand. So he's going to be a hard guy to beat, but I will do my best.
All right, we got a little bit of a rivalry going there. Pump Track Challenge presented by Rock Sharks going down at 8 o'clock tonight. Right now, we got the ladies.
All right, you know, thanks, Hannah, but I have Martin Soderstrom and Adrian Lerone on my fantasy Crankworx team for Pump Track tonight.
Oh, come on, are you serious? This is not looking good for me.
Yeah, I'm dropping dimes right now is what's going on. And you can tell with Martin right there, that's a very bummed out Martin Soderstrom right there.
Oh yeah, he's been focusing so hard. I mean, Speed and Style is the perfect event for a guy like him. And with him not focusing on slopestyle anymore, obviously he had his sights set on the top step of that podium. Wasn't his day. Very tough strategy involved with this event. Not only what tricks to do, how fast to go, but tire setup as well. Maybe he'll come with a different approach. And Whistler have a stronger sidewall tire.
Well, he was very politically correct the way he handled it, but you know, you've known him long enough so you know that he was visibly upset. Jill Kittner right now, she's got the advantage over the Sia Oetjen, the Swiss rider right there, so they'll go head-to-head here in just a moment. Anna Kabertin, well, she's behind. She's got to play catch-up, and she's got to play catch-up to none other than Casey Brown, and that is not as easy as it sounds, that's for sure. Well, let's go back up top. Jill Kittner with a huge, huge advantage, 2.56. She'd almost need to lose a wheel to not be able to win this one.
Well, she was sitting down out of the gate, so she's obviously conserving energy on this run, chilling a little bit to make sure she minimizes the chances of making a mistake. And she's about 5 or 6 bike lengths out ahead at the moment. And barring any mechanical or mental error, we're going to be seeing Jill Kittner defending that top seeding spot and moving in to the final round. But who's she going to face? That's the big question.
Well, Jill Kittner is going to do it right there, 6'5'9", the full advantage for her, so she'll go in the gold medal matchup. Jill Kittner will do that. And she will go against the winner of Annika Birchen and Casey Brown when they go at it. And then Lucia Ochin, she will go to the bronze medal matchup, to the loser of our next one. And taking a look at it right now, here's how it's looking. There you go. Jill Kittner has done what she needs to do. She's moved on to the gold medal championship round for Jill Kittner. And Lucia Ochin, she's got a battle for the bronze.
Man, either way it shakes down, it's going to be a good race for the finals.
Let's set it down to Hannah standing by with Jill Kittner. Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. I'm here with Jill Kittner. She is currently in the lead for the Queen of Crankworx race. Jill, we talked before. How are you feeling right now going on to the next round?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, anytime you're in a final, it's pretty good. Pressure's a bit off, so I'm just going to try and clear the jumps and hit turns well and make it here first, I guess.
How important is it for you to stay focused and make sure that you are getting points towards that race? Because you're at 450 right now, and winning this contest here right now would really help that race.
I mean, yeah, you got to focus on every lap. That's how you get there. So, I don't know, the overall's whatever, but I'm just trying to do this one right now. So, it's good. It's going good.
You're going to face off against either Annika or KC. What do you think about either one of those competitors?
Yeah, both are really good. So, I have my work cut out for me, but I'm feeling good, and sun's out, so I can't complain.
Best of luck in the next heat. Jill Kittner, guys, back up to you.
Well, you know, in golf, we call it a gimme if the ball's really close to the hole, but this is not a gimme for Jill Kittner when you look at Casey Brown, Annika Birchen, who she's got to go against, either one of those.
Yeah, both very fast girls, definitely not a gimme.
So now we take a look at him right now. So Casey Brown, you can see her on the left right there from Canada, Annika Birchen from the Netherlands, doing it on the right, but Casey Brown has the advantage by 0.42. She just needs to run a Casey Brown-esque style run. Here we go, they're back to racing.
There we go, Casey Brown out to an early lead into that first jump, setting it down perfectly on the backside of that landing, generating speed into this right-handed 90-degree berm. Still with the lead, but Annika's sprinting up that hill. She's got that leg strength from the background in BMX and four-cross. Casey Brown pumping through those rollers, getting to the finish line jump first. Oh, she hit the big one, actually. There's 2 different size ramps there, and she did not slow down to hit the small one. She went full bore into that long one, and that's why she was able to extend that lead a little bit through the finish line.
Well, that also means with that 0.78, your dual slalom winner of that matchup is going to be Casey Brown, so that's going to put Casey Brown in the championship matchup for the gold medal against Jill Kittner, and Annika Birchen is going to battle it out with Lucia Ochin for the bronze medal. So that is how it stacks for the ladies here.
Always exciting to see the first place and second place seed meet up in the finals.
So much on the line. Well, the guys coming up for you here, semifinals. We got one more race and done for the guys, but there's a look at the ladies. Jill Kittner, Casey Brown, championship round. They'll go head-to-head, USA versus Canada there. Lucia Ochin in the bronze medal matchup, and she will go against, of course, Annika Birchen now
for the mountain.
Yeah, so now the guys. Daryl Brown with the advantage over Bas van Steenbergen. He's trying to see if he can make his way to the championship round. And Louis Roubaud, the advantage over Adrien Lerone. So could we see a Daryl Brown, Louis Roubaud matchup in the championship round? Adrien Lerone is not going to go away that easy.
No, he's determined.
So let's focus all of our attention up top. The matchup for the guys here in the semifinals. The final race in the semifinals, you can see Bas van Steenbergen on the right, and you got Daryl Brown there on the left from Great Britain with the advantage, 1.07, Cam.
Well, you can look at these guys, and even if you didn't know them, you would be able to tell who's the racer and who's the jumper right here. Jeans and a t-shirt for Daryl Brown, full jersey race style for Bas van Steenbergen. Tuck toboggan for Bass, a 360 tuck no-hander for Darrell Brown. Darrell Brown getting a little bit offline. Hopefully he didn't miss a gate. But man, trying to generate the speed going up that hill. He lost a lot in that berm. A bit of a hard time making up that speed for Darrell Brown. This may be an opportunity for Bass Van Steenbergen to make it out of this round.
Puts it down, rubber side down. But is that going to be enough for Darrell Brown to make up the difference? That's a huge advantage time-wise. 1.64 for Bass.
Yeah, I'm not sure even if a 90 score plus an 80 score can result in a time benefit enough to catch up to Bass Van Steenbergen's massive lead here.
Well, let's take a look at the replays here and look at the jump sections here again and dissect those for us. There you go, here you go, taking another look.
Everything going great for Darrell Brown here, just as he has been doing every single round. The 360 tuck no-hander, straight to the landing, perfect. Good extension, that usually scores him a 90, so boom, 90 in the bag. But it all kind of started to go wrong in the middle. He was sprinting up that hill because he lost a lot of speed in that 90-degree right-hand berm. He got that backflip tuck no-hander, maybe even higher and with more extension than he had been doing in previous rounds. So will it be enough? He was pretty far behind, Brad.
Yeah, pretty far behind, but it now goes in the judge's hands as far as the tricks goes.
I mean, he almost landed at the finish line. He launched it so big.
Love seeing him roll with that DeWalt t-shirt right there. Darrell Brown down 1.64 to Bass. So now zeros for Bass, and he's going to get 0 on jump 2 as well. So now we go. A 90 brings it to 0.54. This could do it for Darrell Brown. I think he could be moving on, coming in. An 80, he's done it. Darrell Brown has done it right there. He'll be moving in to the championship, and Bass Van Steenbergen will be battling out for the bronze.
I'll tell you one thing. If Darrell Brown wasn't able to get his hands off on either of those jumps, there's no way he would have moved out of that round.
Right.
It was the difficulty of those tricks that was able to have him make up that big disadvantage.
Let's catch up with Hannah standing by right now with Darrell Brown.
All right, guys, I have here with me Darrell Brown, who is moving on into the big final. Now, Darrell, we were chatting, and this is your first ever time competing in dual speed and style. How does it feel to be going into the big final?
Really amazing. Like, I haven't even got the right tyres and stuff like that, but just like having fun on my bike, which I always try and do, and you know, go as fast as possible and just see what happens. Have fun.
I heard that you were borrowing a front brake. Is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't even have a front brake, so I had to borrow one, and yeah.
Well, you're moving on to the big final, so you should be proud of yourself so far. Best of luck. Guys, Darrell Brown, back up to you.
Oh my gosh. A Cinderella story right there. Darrell Brown never completing in dual speed and style, and now he is going to the gold medal championship round. Well, who's he going to go against? It's going to be one of these dudes right here. Louis Robot with the advantage over Adrien Lerone. Adrien Lerone on the right, Louis Robot on the left, and the advantage not by much, Cam. That's only 0.36.
And it's definitely within the realm of possibility for Adrien Lerone to backflip his way to the finish line and make up that advantage. Louis might have to reach deeper into the bag. He's a slopestyle competitor. He has more tricks. Will he use them?
Well, Adrien Lerone is definitely going to need to beat him on speed, because he's going to have to make up the difference on the speed, because he's not going to get him on the tricks. He'll come close, but he won't take the advantage. Here we go. Second matchup between these guys. Louis Robot, he's got the advantage. Not by much, but he definitely has the advantage. Adrien Lerone on the right, Louis Robot on the left. In the semifinals, winner moves on to the gold medal championship round. The loser goes to battle it out for the bronze. Here we go.
All right, Adrien Lerone with a bit of a jump out of that gate. The backflip for Lerone, the tail whip for Louis Robot, same as we've been seeing in previous rounds. Wow, Louis a little bit behind, which may be as, oh, no, he's down.
Oh, no.
It for Louis Robot, unfortunately.
So will Adrien Lerone just throw it here anyways?
Whoa, a 360. Wow. Wow. Foreshadowing the final. He has more in the bag, Brad. He just hasn't had to use it yet. Definitely a smart plan for Adrien Lerone, using that round right there where Louis Robot fell down to practice tricks that he's definitely going to need in the final going against Darrell Brown.
Oh my goodness, that is something that we didn't expect to happen. And look at Adrien Lerone throwing a little something extra on there with the 3.
And he landed perfect too. It did not look like, you know, like a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
It looked like he really knew what he was doing.
No, he stopped. Let's take a look at the replays here and take a look at, maybe we can see what went wrong.
So we still had a race on our hands at this point. The first jump, a tail whip for Louis, a flip for Lerone, exactly what we were expecting. But On the exit of this right-hand berm right here, something happened to Louis. It looks like, oh, he went offline and ended up into the drainage system. If he were able to hold on, he would have been able to see what Lerone was doing and pick a bigger trick, but that was it for Louis. And then let's take a look down at the last jump, Brad.
Look at this three.
It was absolutely perfect. Flat axis. Looked like Andreu Lacondegui on that flat 360.
Boy, I tell you what, that was super stylish, and I had no idea that Adrian Lerone was going to have that one in the bag of tricks to be able to drop the bomb there. And you can see Louis Rebol. Yeah, he was out, but he wasn't that bummed. It's a fellow countryman that's moving on.
I don't think I've ever seen Louis Rebol bummed, so no big surprise there.
Yeah. So obviously the advantage, you can see that. That is how it's going to go. So the matchup is set for the gold medal. Darryl Brown's going against Adrian Lerone, Bas van Steenbergen, and Louis Rebol battling it out for the bronze. We'll be back with more racing from Leger, Crankworx stop number 2.
$30,000 trails in your pocket. Trailforks. Download the free app now.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one by. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one by.
And Crankworx Leger brought to you by Leger Bike Park, the best bike park in Europe. And also brought to you by SRAM, the power of bicycles, SRAM. And taking a look at the women's bracket as it's finishing up here. The championship round is going to go against Jill Kittner and Casey Brown. You couldn't script that better in a Hollywood movie right there. Lucia Oetjen, the Swiss rider, going against Anneke Bertien in the Netherlands for the bronze medal matchup, and that's the first one that we're going to see right now. So the battle for the bronze for these two ladies right now. And Anneke Bertien, I mean, we keep talking about Casey Brown and Jill Kittner as a battle for Queen too, but Anneke Bertien, she's battling out for Queen as well.
Oh yeah, this bronze medal round, there's more to it than just the bronze medal, that's for sure.
So a finish on the podium would be huge for Anneke Bertien. That's exactly what wants to do. Keep it close to the rest of the ladies. And here we go, back to racing. Anneke Bertien on the right.
Here we go, both competitors coming up a little bit short on that jump. Anneke Bertien squeezing into the lead right now with more than just that bronze medal on her mind. We've got the dual slalom overall from all 3 stops of the Crankworx World Tour up for grabs. We also have the Queen of Crankworx title up for grabs. 2 things that are definitely on her mind right now as she's crossing the finish line first, with the advantage going into the second round coming up soon.
And no problem for Anneke Bertien right there. That's what she needed to do, get the advantage, and she does it by a full 1.48. You see Oetjen is going to have her work cut out for her, trying to see if she can eclipse that and get back up in the swing of things and be battling out for that bronze medal. And now we focus on this. Oh yeah, this is the match that we've been waiting to see for the ladies. Jill Kittner and Casey Brown. Jill Kittner, she's gonna take things over on the left. And then you got Casey Brown on the right there.
They both look so dominant in their quest to this finals round, but how will they look up against each other?
For the gold medal right here. Our first matchup, here we go. Out of the gate, looks like Casey Brown gets a little bit of advantage, but Jill Kittner making it right up.
Well, Casey clearing the jump out a little bit further than Jill Kittner and catching back up. This is going back and forth. They're trading places with this lead right now, but Jill Kittner putting 2 bike lengths on Casey Brown coming into the berms.
Casey Brown kind of going wide right there. It's going to cost her a little time. Jill Kittner is just going to keep those pedal strokes going into the last jump.
Wow, Casey lost speed on that roller section, not taking any pedals across the finish line, knowing she's going to have her work cut out for her when they get back up to the top and they switch sides.
Well, I saw Casey Brown. It looked like she slipped a pedal on one of those burns. Let's take a look and see if we can maybe even catch that. Let's look at the replays here.
So take a look at Jill. She's looking very far ahead. Her tires are not drifting. Looks like she's running those bigger wheels. Casey with a full dirt jump setup, actually. Dirt jump tires, hardtail bike, 26-inch wheels. Impressive that she's able to stay so close to Jill Kittner, but Jill Kittner definitely kind of walking through that round.
Well, Jill Kittner on the gas all the way through that. She is all about that #1 spot right there. She comes across, yeah, you know, I'm just out here just trying to have a good race, but she's come here to win.
Yeah, you know who sounds like that? People who win overall championships. They always say, you know, I'm just focusing on one event at a time, and then they end up winning it.
One race at a time. Well, Jill Kittner is one race away for taking the gold medal and extending her lead for the Queen of Crankworx. Well, here's how the guys are stacking up for you. Daryl Brown against Adrian Lerone. I'm excited about this one for the championship round. Bas Van Steenbergen, he's going to face Louis Rabeau in the bronze medal matchup, and that's the first one we'll get to right now. So let's get our riders up top and let's focus all of our attention here. The battle for the bronze. Louis Rabeau on the right, Bas Van Steenbergen on the left. Here we go, Cam. Riders locked and loaded. Here we go, off to racing.
Bas Van Steenbergen with a nice snap, making it to that first jump way early with that toboggan. A tail whip for Louis Rabeau. Louis Rabeau hanging tough. Bas has that inside line. He made it look like a berm. It's literally a collection of muddy ruts. Wow, Louis Rabeau right on the tail of Bas Van Steenbergen. And he's gonna be throwing a trick on the last jump. Does he reach deeper into the bag? Nope, sticking with that flat spin 360. Very, very close to Bas.
Yeah, what's the time difference? Okay, that's only .93, so I think Louis Rabeau's going to make that up. So I think right now, as far as leader as speed goes, that's going to go to Bas. But I think with the jump lines, that you got to think that Louis is going to take it. Let's take a look and see if we can see something what the judges are looking at here. Our first jump section here as we look at what the guys are dropping. Bas, like you said, getting that snap.
Yeah, and Louis is riding really confident, knowing that he's riding fast enough to at least stay close to Bas. He's sticking with the same tricks that have been trustworthy in getting him this far. The tail whip up top, sprinting it out on the uphill section so that he is able to just go for that 360 again, knowing that Bas is probably just going to take his hand off and put it on the seat. The 360, he's able to stay relatively low, get the speed back to the ground pretty quickly, and take a look at the gap between them right here.
And that's when you keep it that close and you have a better jump section, then usually you can make up that difference. In Bas, you can see it, it's a .93. I think Louis Rabeau is going to do it here.
If you have those tricks and you're going up against just toboggans and you're that close, I think he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he's going to get a 70, so .07. Yeah, the next jump will take him over the top right there. That's going to be a 65, so he's going to have a .72 advantage in that battle for the bronze medal. So good job, Louis Rabeau. And Bas Van Steenbergen is going to have to work on a couple tricks before we get to Whistler because he is fast. He's got the fast game dialed.
Well, I mean, Bas, if there was ever a time to do a backflip, it's right now, buddy. Yeah. He's got all the bike skill in the world. He just needs to learn some tricks right now. He's got his brother who's one of the best in the world at big tricks, so maybe he can enlist some help.
Well, if you taking a look at the coursework, these guys are working day and night to try and get this thing, but Mother Nature is doing what she's going to do, so they're doing their best job. All right, Crankworx covers things in Leger, and they do a great job. I'm always on my Crankworx just to find out the latest trails that you can get down with.
I mean, Crankworx is pretty darn valuable these days, especially for people who love traveling and they love riding bikes. You're not in the dark anymore. You get the Crankworx app, show up in a new town, try to find out what trails are there. Even if you don't have any friends in that town, you've got all the friends you need in your pocket. Get that Crankworx app. And
well, this is Jump Trail, one of the trails out here. Love the wall ride little sections to it.
Well, every bike park, they're calling themselves the best bike park in Europe, and every bike park needs a jump trail. Whistler has A-Line, Rotorua has their jump trail, and of course, Leger. We're taking a look at their jump trail right now. All the rollers and berms you need to have a good day on the bike with your friends. And that's what it's all about at a bike park. Of course, we love the technical downhill riding, but jump trails is where the smiles happen.
Leger, that's where we are right now, highlighting some of the trails out here. And I'll tell you what, Crankworx, a game changer. Now we focus on our matchup right here. This is for the gold medal championship matchup. Our first race between these two characters, Daryl Brown on the left from Great Britain, Adrien Leron on the right from France. So Great Britain versus France here. So you got to think, does Adrien Leron come out of the gates here and drop 2 backflips on the jump lines? Because he knows he's going to have his work trying to catch whatever Daryl Brown's going to do. So Daryl Brown's got to keep it close. Here we go.
Well, Adrien Leron knows what he needs to do, and he's capable of doing it. Daryl Brown's so incredibly consistent with that 360 tuck no-hander, and he's hanging tight, wrapping the inside of that rutted out berm on a dirt jump bike. I don't even think he has gears on that thing. He's going up against a straight-up racer right now in the form of Adrien Leron. Will Adrien Leron try that 360? He does. Perfect execution, completely square. Daryl Brown gets that massive combo.
Wow. Adrien Leron showing he's got some tricks up the old sleeve ski right there. 0.72 for Adrien Leron. That's the advantage on speed. So you see that yellow bar. It's all about the yellow bar. Well, we're going to have to go and take a look at those jumps right there. I just love seeing Adrien Leron drop backflips and threes all day long.
I just can't believe how consistent Daryl Brown is with that 360 tuck no-hander. You hang out at the dirt jumps and you see people do a bunch of straight airs before they're actually able to pull that off. He's doing it every single round. Something that we haven't seen every single round, though, the flat spin 360 from Adrien Leron. He's been holding on to that secret trick. May come in handy, but with the combos of Daryl Brown, it's going to take a lot.
I wonder, does that beat Daryl Brown on jump number 2? Well, let's just not focus on that. Let's focus on the first jump here and see what the scores are. So a 50 for Adrien Leron, so he's extended the lead, 1.33. And then with a 65, so 2.12. I don't think Daryl Brown can make that up. A 90 down to 102. No, I don't think he can do it. And an 80, so 0.04. Adrien Leron with the advantage. That's tighter than a Kim Kardashian yoga pants right there, 0.04. Let's send it down to Hannah right now with more. Hannah, crazy stuff going on.
All right, guys, we have the veteran and the rookie. So I'm going to start with the rookie first. Daryl Brown, you almost just beat Adrien Leron, who is an absolute killer at dual speed and style. How does that feel right now?
Stoked, yeah, out of breath and stuff, because obviously I don't practice this, but, you know, I'm having a good time, that's all that cares. So.
What do you think you're going to do to get the edge on him in the next heat?
Like, I don't know. Just try again.
All right, we'll see what you have in store. Adrien Leron, the veteran. Now, you are bringing out all the stops. You are backflipping. You are doing so many tricks out there. Are you feeling a little bit out of your comfort zone? Because you don't look like it.
I'm pretty stoked about the track. It's really technical, and you must trick all the jumps if you want to win. So we have one more run, and we'll see. The best gonna win.
You have the advantage going in. Is there any pressure performing in your home country?
Yeah, always. It's always a pressure because all the family is watching, the friends. And yeah, now we have to do it again.
Well, you have the crowd behind you. Best of luck in the next heat.
Oh my goodness. Don't go anywhere on this one, man. This is good stuff right there. So 0.04, that's it. 0.04. Let's focus on the ladies now. Jill Kittner She's got the advantage in the championship round over Casey Brown, and then you got Annika Biertsen. She has the advantage over Lucia Ochin here in the bronze medal matchup. So that's the one we're going to finish off right now. Who is going to come away with the bronze medal? Is it going to be Annika Biertsen, or is it going to be Lucia Ochin for the battle for the bronze? There's the ladies up there. Annika Biertsen, you can see her on the left, and you got Lucia. She is on the right here. The final matchup, the winner will come away with the bronze medal here. Here we go.
Well, Lucia actually getting out to a great start, but it did not last for long. Annika Biertsen taking the lead, but almost trading it back and forth here in these first few berms. But she's been pretty tough to beat on that climb section right there. And of course, remaining consistent in these berms, Annika Biertsen looks like she's going to add to that advantage that she started in the first round. There we go, Brad.
Well, there you go. Annika Biertsen, she is going to come away with the bronze medal out here for your dual slalom for the ladies out here in Leger. So she needed to do it. She needed to keep that gap close. Yeah, we talk about, you know, how you try to repeat as the queen of Crankworx. Well, positions. Every position counts. So whether you finish third, second, or first, the higher you finish, the better your chances count.
Well, if you're not going to win, you better be getting second or third, because all those points are valuable. So Annika Biertsen definitely remaining consistent, trying to repeat that Queen of Crankworx title from last year.
That's for sure. And a good crowd on hand here in Leger. Stop number 2 of your Crankworx World Tour. Cam McCall, Brad J. Bringing all the action for you. Will also be on the broadcast for you later on for your Pump Track Challenge presented by Rockstar. But now it is all about the gold medal right now. Your leader, Jill Kittner, by 1.17 against Casey Brown. Jill Kittner on the right, Casey Brown on the left. If Jill Kittner can get the speed on this one, she will come away with the gold medal, and Casey Brown will get the silver. But here we go, back to racing. Casey Brown gets the jump on Jill.
Casey Brown looking so strong right now, holding on to that lead through the whole first straightaway, losing it a little bit as she's on the slower section on the inside of that rutted out berm, and falling behind Jill Kittner right now. Jill looking so strong. She has the advantage coming into this second round of the finals. And it's going to be Jill Kittner, Brad, the gold medalist in women's dual slalom here.
Well, your dual slalom gold medalist, congratulations are in order for Jill Kittner taking the gold, Casey Brown taking the silver, and Annika Biertsen taking the bronze. That's how it looks for your dual slalom. Let's head on down to Hannah Bernard for a quick word. Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. Your first ever Crankworx Leger champion in the women's dual slalom, Jill Kittner. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, pretty good. All I really wanted was to clear that jump on that side. It was really hard. Embarrassing. It's like full pencil.
Well, you certainly did that. Now, you got silver in the whip-off yesterday, and now you have a gold in the dual slalom for the women's. How are you feeling going into the pump track? Lots of confidence?
Yeah, pretty good. A little tired now, but so fun to ride with Browner and have a few giggles. So,
well, go get some rest. Pump track is coming up tonight.
Yeah,
best of luck.
She says she's tired, but I'll tell you, she is focused on the task at hand, and that's called winning. All right, so taking a look at it right now, Jill Kittner, congratulations. She takes the gold medal. Casey Brown with that silver. Annika Biertsen, she's coming away with the bronze. That's how it's looking for your dual slalom, but time to decide the hardware for the guys now. We head back up top and stack them and rack them again. Bas van Steenbergen on the right, Louis Rabot on the left, and Louis Rabot with the advantage by 0.72. Will Bas come in and drop a trick on one of those jump lines, Cam?
Man, I'm wondering too, does he have any secret tricks? I know that he dirt jumps a ton. His brother's one of the best free riders in the world. He might have something hidden, but not throwing it on the first jump. Louis with that tail whip. Bas keeping it simple with that toboggan, putting the hand on the seat. And this is a drag race right now.
So Bas keeping the distance between him.
Louis squirreling out. He might have to try an earlier trick on the last jump. Oh, this is going to be really important for Louis right here. Still just goes for the 360. Oh, sprinting.
Well, that's very interesting. Louis Rabot stumbling a little bit down there. The 1.59 advantage for Bas. That's because of the speed right there. So finishing way above that one. So let's take a look at the replays and see if we can see what the judges are looking at here on this one. All right.
Well, no big surprises here. We had the tail whip for Louis, and that's hand on the seat for Bass. But look at how inside Bass was and how up at the top of that berm Louis was. He got hung up, lost a lot of speed there. Bass barely getting that toboggan, and Louis, of course, with that 360. Very eventful lap right there with the mistake from Louis, but the big tricks. He was pretty far behind, though. Is it going to be enough?
I know. That's what it comes down to right now. So Bass, I think, is going to get zeros on the jump lines for him. And let's take a look at it right now. Louis Rabot, remember, had the advantage from their first matchup. And that shows the 1.59 is the difference right now that Bass has over Louis. So we go to the jumps. A 0 for Bass on number 1. So no changes there.
A 0 for jump 2.
0 for jump 2. Now over to the jump section for Louis Rabot. This is where you're going to start seeing that lead whittle away. A 70, so it's down to a 73. If he beats a 73, a 60.
Whoa!
What?
A straight up tie.
How do you even decide that one? I have no idea.
Oh, man.
It's 0.00.
Well, you know what we do in this situation?
Flip a coin?
I mean, that's one way, but remember, this is a race. So yes, the style was added in and they broke down even, but we can break out the abacus and separate this score down to the 1,000th of a second. That's what we've done in the past. I would imagine that's what we would do now.
I don't know. Cam and I are kind of stumped up here.
All right, while we're waiting for them to break it down to the 1,000th of a second, you know, we're talking about this new format, hoping that it's going to make tricks and speed a little bit more even. And I guess that's proof right there, a dead nuts tie. That is about as fair as it gets.
Maybe rock, paper, scissors, a Rochambeau or something for the bronze.
Maybe a wheelie contest?
Yeah, right?
Well, thank goodness we've got precise timing and scoring. They're able to break it down to the 1,000th of a second. It's going to take a little while, so in the meantime, let's take a look at that replay. Tail whip for Louis Rabot. My favorite part is seeing how low in the berm Bass van Steenbergen was.
That little stumble by Louis right there.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do that, he obviously gets the bronze.
That was definitely more than a thousandth of a second stumble right there for Louis, so that is exactly what the determining factor was. If he didn't stumble, he would have taken away the gold, no problem. Now we have to break it down.
Taking a look right there, putting that one down. Man. All right, let's send it down to Hannah. Maybe she can make heads or tails of this, no pun intended. Hannah, what's going on? All tied up.
You can cut the tension with the knife down here, guys. Bass, you were just saying this is too much drama for you. How are you feeling right now?
Kind of nervous. Pretty happy to be like top 4 anyways, but I don't know. 3 would be a lot better than 4th, I guess.
It would be. You'd be on the podium. Now, we talked earlier and you said this is the first time ever competing in this event. How good does it feel to at least be in the small final in this contest?
It feels cool. I should probably work on my tricks a little bit, but it's cool for sure.
Well, it seems to be working for you. And now, Louis, how are you feeling right now? A little bit tense here, right?
Yeah, but I'm feeling so good. I'm just happy to win the small final with Bass, so just let's see what's happened.
You definitely had no shortage of tricks. Was there any pressure playing in front of like your home country crowd?
For sure, a little bit, but I'm saying before the competition, I say, okay, I'm just going to do the speed inside for fun, and now I'm in the top 4, so I can be more stuck, you know?
Yeah, you qualified 15th, and now you're in the small final, so that's a pretty big feat.
I did a qualification with my downhill bike, so now I say, okay, be serious, take the hard tail, and I'm in the top 4, so I think it's a good choice.
Well, congratulations. Either way, they're going down to the 1,000th of a second to decide the winner. We'll be coming up with the results shortly.
And we narrowed it down to the 1,000th of a second. So one of these guys is coming away with the bronze medal. One is going home empty-handed, and that means that Louis Rabot by .01 will take the bronze medal away from Bass. Louis Rabot getting the bronze. Wow.
Splitting hairs out here. Dual speed and style in Leger with the new format.
.01 pound.
It does not get any more exciting than that, Brad.
Damn, son, that was close right there. Holy crap, right down
time
to the
re-rack
wire.
for the final.
Yeah, and if that's an inkling of what we're going to see here in our final matchup for the gold medal. We're in for a doozy. Take a look at it right there. You see where Daryl Brown has done to get all the way up there. Well, Daryl Brown going against Adrian Lerone, the championship round, the battle for the gold, whatever you want to call it. But there's not a very big advantage for Adrian Lerone. He barely has the advantage over the man Daryl Brown, a rookie to dual speed and style. There we go, Daryl Brown on the right, 0.04. The advantage going to Adrian Lerone. He is on the left. The final matchup, the battle for the gold.
Oh man, I expect another tight one here, Brad. A backflip for Lerone, a 360 tuck no-hander yet again. So incredibly consistent, Daryl Brown.
Brown's got to keep him close.
Brown is actually gaining on that. He's going inside on that. He's able to hold on. Oh, man. Brown takes the lead coming into the final jump. Backflip, tuck no-hander, a 360 for Lerone. Brown crosses the finish line first.
I got to think that Daryl Brown's going to come away with the gold medal on this one. He gets the 0.23. I got to think he's going to get the jumps. He made up the advantage, 0.04. So it's all just a matter of dotting the I's and crossing the T's at this point. But Daryl Brown's going to get the gold out here. And Adrian Lerone is going to come away with the silver medal. And you can see he looks like he's injured right there. But let's take a look. That could be a factor for tonight's pump track. Let's take a look at the jump sections here again, Cam. Wow.
Look at Daryl Brown, the dual speed and style rookie, coming out swinging with the tricks and the speed. Adrian Lerone is a guy we usually associate with the word speed, but of course he's bringing more in the style department here in Leger. But man, oh man, a guy you wouldn't expect to be able to hang with Adrian Lerone, Daryl Brown, doing just that by crossing the finish line first, just after grabbing hands casually after being upside down with him off the bars. Ridiculous consistency from Daryl Brown right here. Backflip, tuck no-hander, look at the extension. Right next to him, side-by-side 360 for Adrian Lerone. That is the definition of speed and style right there.
And just sliding out at the end and just laying there going, man, I'm a rookie out here in speed and style going against a heavy hitter like Adrian Lerone. And you see Louis Rabot coming in for a hug with the Frenchman right there. So Daryl Brown, 0.23.
I don't think we'll be splitting hairs on this one.
I really don't think so. I think you're right there. So a 90 for DB on jump number 1, an 80 for jump number 2. No way can Adrian Lerone make that up. He did a good job with that 65, chipping it away. And got to get another 65.73. So that means Daryl Brown is going to come away with the gold medal, and Adrian Lerone is going to come away with the silver. Wow, congratulations for Daryl Brown. Let's check in with Hannah standing by with our winner. Wow.
A true Cinderella story we have here. Your gold medalist in the dual speed and style. First timer in the competition, Daryl Brown. What's going through your mind right now, Daryl?
Can't believe it. It's fucking insane.
Wow, we got some French going there. Right, what did you say to yourself before you came down on this course?
I knew he's so fast, and like, I just went for it so hard, and somehow it worked out.
Can you walk us through the run? What was going through your mind as you were hitting those jumps and making that time up?
Basically just pedal, 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 brake once, then pedal, and that's the whole thing basically.
That's the secret recipe. Well, congratulations. Your newcomer, the winner at the Crankworx Leger gold medalist in the dual speed and style, Daryl Brown.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm looking like a damn genius right now. I picked Daryl Brown for the win. I picked Jill Kittner on fantasy.crankworx.com, and I get 2 wins. But congratulations, Daryl Brown. As a rookie in dual speed and style against heavy hitters, I love the new format now.
Absolutely. You know who else is looking like a genius? Whoever came up with this new format. After years and years of trying to fine-tune this and make it work, there were flaws in the system. But right now, the show that we were just privileged to watch, that is the epitome of dual speed and style.
You can't get better than that, that is for sure. Big congratulations are in order for all of our medalists. Jill Kittner with the gold, Casey Brown with the silver, Annika Britti coming away with the bronze, Daryl Brown getting that gold, Adrian Lerone getting the silver, Louis Rabot getting the bronze. There you go, Leger Pump Track Challenge coming up later on today. Join us for that webcast. Cam McCall, myself, and Hannah Bernard will be on for that one. So the Crankworx World Series, dual speed and style, the standings thus far. Let's take a look at how that's going right now. Take a look. There you go, Adrian Lerone, top dog. Well, Darrell Brown, since this is his first one, he did not compete in Rotorua, but he's in third place, 150 points. Kyle Strait in that fourth, but then you move on up. Almost Slavic, number 2 from the Czech Republic, a 170. So he's only 5 points behind Adrian Lerone with that 175. So now we've looked at the overall for speed and style. Why don't we take a look at the overall for King of Crankworx now that things are starting to heat up after another event in the books. And there you go. Our dog for the USA, Ryan Howard in third. He's got 250 points, 25 off the top spot. Matt Walker unable to compete out here. The Kiwi in that second spot with 265 total points. And then Adrian Lerone netting the silver medal, netting him some more points with a 275 count. Final thoughts, Cam. What are you thinking about the new format? Obviously, you're loving it.
I am 100% sold on the new format. Back in the day, Kurt Voorhees came up with the idea, you know, saying how cool would it be to have a mountain bike event that's like skiing moguls, but like dual slalom and like dirt jump, and put it all together. It sounds like a great idea, but how do you actually crunch the numbers and make it work? It looks like we finally figured it out.
Well, yeah, definitely props in order for Kurt Voorhees for what he has done to dual speed and style to bring that out and make it part of what we got going on for sure. Well, that is going to do it for us. Don't forget, we got the Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox. That is coming up later today. Another broadcast for you. We ain't done yet. But Crankworx Leger, stop number 2 on your Crankworx World Tour. On behalf of Hannah Bernard and on behalf of Cam McCall, I'm Brad J. Thank you so much. Join us later for the Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox. See ya.